Before we get started, please like and subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. And you can support the channel by clicking thanks or joining. Evelyn Harper had always believed old houses carried old memories, but she never expected those memories to speak back. When she first moved into the dilapidated Victorian home on Ashford Lane, she imagined quiet mornings with dust drifting gently through soft beams of sunlight, and nights filled with the comforting creaks of aged wood settling into sleep. Instead, on her second night, she heard a whisper rising from inside the walls. It began as a thin, wavering sound, like wind funneling through a narrow crack. At first, she dismissed it, blaming the antique heating system that coughed every time it tried to push warm air through ancient vents. But soon the sound sharpened. The whisper grew purposeful, forming syllables that crawled beneath her skin. She froze in her bed, the blankets lifted to her chin, wondering if exhaustion was playing tricks on her. Then she heard it clearly. "Evelyn," the voice beckoned from within the wall behind her headboard. She sat up so fast the mattress groaned under her. Her gaze locked on the faded wallpaper, a peeling pattern of roses that once held color but now looked bruised and wilted. The voice continued, soft yet undeniably human. "Evelyn, do you hear me?" She could not move. Her breath stilled in her chest as her heart thrashed violently. She reached for her phone, then remembered there was no signal inside the house. Something about its thick walls swallowed reception entirely. She had planned to call a contractor to inspect the wiring, but now she cursed not doing it sooner. As the whisper echoed again, she forced herself from the bed. Her legs trembled as she approached the wall, each step a battle between curiosity and fear. She pressed her ear against the cold surface. Beneath the plaster, beneath the layers of wood and insulation, something shifted. A faint scraping sound, a slow, deliberate movement. She jerked back when morning finally arrived. She convinced herself it had been a dream, yet unease clung to her like a fine mist. She walked the halls of the house carefully, studying the corners where shadows pooled too deeply. Dust coated every surface, though she had spent hours cleaning the previous day. As she reached the living room, she noticed something new, a crack running across the wall near the ceiling, thin but fresh. She stared at it, imagining fingers pushing from the other side. Later that afternoon, she met her new neighbor, Daniel Whitmore, who approached her with a polite nod. He was tall, his demeanor gentle, though his eyes carried something unspoken. When she mentioned the odd sounds, he stiffened almost imperceptibly. "Old houses do strange things," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Evelyn sensed he knew more than he admitted. That night, the whisper returned. This time, Evelyn had left the lights on, hoping illumination might chase away whatever haunted the walls. But as she settled into bed, the bulb flickered violently before dying with a pop, plunging the room into darkness. She reached for the flashlight on her nightstand. Before she could switch it on, the whisper slithered into the room again. "Evelyn, you left me here. Why?" Her flashlight tumbled from her grasp. She grasped the edge of the bed, every muscle tightening. The voice was stronger now, no longer a mere breath, but a clear, mournful plea spoken directly into her ear. She spun, expecting to see someone standing behind behind her, but the room was empty. Her panic surged. This was no illusion of wind or faulty pipes. Someone or something was inside the walls. She rushed to the living room, switching on every lamp she passed. The house felt wrong. The air heavy as though something pressed against her from all directions. She dialed Daniel from the landline. His voice cracked when she explained what she heard. "I am coming over," he said. "Do not stay near the walls." His urgency only amplified her fear. She stood in the center of the living room, far from anything that bordered the unseen space behind the plaster. The whisper followed her. "Evelyn, you remember me? Don't leave again." Her skin crawled. The tone was no longer sorrowful, but accusing. She shook her head. "I don't know you." Her words trembled. "Yes, you do." The response vibrated through the house. "You forgot, but I remember everything." The front door swung open with a sharp crack. Daniel rushed in, his breathing heavy, eyes scanning the walls frantically. "Evelyn, step back," he commanded. She obeyed, confusion rising. Daniel pressed his palm against the nearest wall, his voice lowered. "Not yet, not again." The whisper hummed beneath his touch, almost responding. Evelyn stared at him. "What is happening? What is that voice?" Daniel swallowed hard. "There are stories about this house, stories about a man who disappeared inside it decades ago. Some say the walls kept him, some say he never left." The whisper grew louder. A pained wail tremored through the floorboards. Evelyn clapped her hands over her ears, but it did nothing to mute the rising echo. Daniel pulled her toward the front door. "You cannot stay here. Not tonight." Before they reached the exit, the wail suddenly cut off, replaced by a chilling silence. Evelyn dared to look back. A bulging shape pushed outward from the living room wall, stretching the wallpaper as though something inside the wall pressed its face against it. Daniel yanked her out the door. They stumbled down the porch steps just as a loud crack erupted behind them. The wallpaper split open. A single whisper drifted into the night air, tender and terrifying. "Evelyn, I found you." Daniel did not let go of Evelyn's arm until they reached the edge of his driveway, far enough that the Victorian house on Ashford Lane looked like a crooked silhouette against the cloud-smothered sky. The porch light on his home flickered, as if disturbed by an unseen gust. Evelyn staggered slightly, her breath uneven, her heart still racing from the sound of that whisper echoing out of the broken wallpaper. The night felt unnaturally cold, like the air had been pulled from her lungs as she escaped the house. Inside Daniel's living room, the atmosphere was warmer, yet the tension never left his expression. He locked the door behind them and drew the curtains closed. Evelyn dropped onto the sofa, burying her face in her hands. For several moments, the only sound was the tremble in her breathing. Finally, she forced herself to speak. "What was that? What did I hear in those walls?" Daniel sat across from her, elbows on his knees, hands clasped tightly. His voice was quiet, carrying the weight of something long hidden. "This house has a history, a dark one. Decades ago, a man named Thomas Wren lived there. He was a quiet man, reclusive, but kind according to the few neighbors who knew him. One day he vanished. No signs of forced entry, no evidence of a struggle. He was simply gone. The official explanation was that he left town, but no one believed it. Evelyn lifted her head. Her eyes burned with fear and disbelief. So people think he is still in the house? How is that even possible? Daniel looked away. When I was a child, the house was already abandoned. People said it was haunted, but not in the usual way. They whispered that the walls listened, that they learned from anyone who entered, that sometimes, late at night, the house spoke back. I heard the stories countless times, but I never believed them. Not really. But tonight I heard that voice through the phone while you were talking. That was not just some sound in your imagination. Evelyn wrapped her arms around herself. I felt like the voice knew me, like it was waiting. She shuddered. But I have never been there before this week. Daniel hesitated. Unless there is something you do not remember. Before she could question him, the lights in his house flickered. A low hum vibrated through the floorboards, faint but growing steadily. The same heavy pressure she felt inside the Victorian house began seeping into the living room. Evelyn shot to her feet. No, it couldn't have followed us. Daniel grabbed a flashlight and motioned for her to stay behind him. The hum deepened, resonating through the walls as though something massive shifted beneath the surface of the house. A picture frame rattled on the wall. Another light flickered violently. The air grew cold. Daniel whispered, "It should not reach this far. It never has before." A sudden knock slammed against the front door. 3 sharp hits. Evelyn covered her mouth, her pulse surging. Daniel raised the flashlight, stepping forward cautiously. He looked through the peephole, his face drained of color. He stepped back instantly. There is no one out there. The knocking returned, louder now, shaking the door in its frame. Evelyn stumbled backward, colliding with the sofa. Daniel tried to keep his voice steady. The house on Ashford Lane is tied to something buried inside its walls, something that does not want to be alone. It wants you back. Evelyn felt the room tighten. Why me? The knocking ceased abruptly. Silence filled the space like suffocating smoke. Then the voice returned, not from Daniel's home, not from outside. It slithered from the back of Evelyn's mind, close yet distant, as though it drifted across invisible tethered threads. "Evelyn, you ran again. You always run." She clutched her head, dropping to her knees. The voice throbbed painfully, wrapping around her thoughts. Daniel rushed to her side, trying to pull her away from whatever invisible hold the voice had. But the sound seeped further, surrounding her with memories she did not recognize. A name whispered through the haze. "Thomas," she gasped. "I heard that name. Why did I hear it?" Daniel stared at her in shock. "Are you saying the voice told you his name?" Evelyn shook her head violently. "I do not know. I do not remember anything. It feels like a dream I should know but can't reach." The walls of Daniel's house groaned. A subtle movement pressed outward from the paint near the hallway entrance. A faint bulge appeared, as though something pushed from behind the drywall, feeling its way toward them. Daniel's flashlight beam trembled as he aimed it toward the distortion. The light flickered when it passed over the bulge, as though whatever stood behind the material disrupted electricity itself. "We have to go." Daniel grabbed Evelyn's arm. "Now!" He pulled her toward the back exit. The house groaned again, deeper this time, the bulge dragging along the hallway wall. Following them, Evelyn felt it breathing, slow and uneven, like lungs buried beneath layers of wood and insulation. When they reached the kitchen, the ceiling above them cracked. Dust rained down. A whisper crept across the room. "Come home, Evelyn. You belong with me." Evelyn shook uncontrollably. Something in that voice felt heartbreakingly familiar, like a long-forgotten lullaby turned into a twisted echo. Why do I feel like I know him? Daniel swung open the back door. Cold night air rushed in. He pushed Evelyn out first, then closed the door behind them. The hum inside the house ceased instantly. Silence fell over the yard. Evelyn clung to the railing, trying to steady her breath. Daniel exhaled shakily. Whatever is in that house has reached beyond its walls. It should not be able to. Something awakened when you moved in. They walked quickly across the yard toward the small shed near the back fence. Daniel unlocked it and motioned her inside. The scent of old tools and dust lingered in the air. It was cramped but safe enough for the moment. He shut the shed door and switched on a small battery lantern. Evelyn leaned against the wall. Why did it call my name? Why did it speak like it knew me? Daniel looked at her carefully. I think Thomas knew someone named Evelyn, someone important to him. Her breath caught. But that was decades ago. That makes no sense, unless the house remembers. Daniel whispered, and unless it thinks you are her. Evelyn felt her heart collapse in on itself. A memory flickered at the edge of her thoughts, too blurred to grasp. A voice, a man's voice, gentle, warm, calling her name. Her eyes widened. Daniel, what if it's not mistaking me? What if I was there? What if something happened and I forgot? Daniel sat beside her. Then we have to find the truth. But first we must survive tonight. In the distance, the Victorian house loomed like a sentient shadow, watching them from across the dark yard. The faint glow of moonlight skimmed the cracked facade, illuminating the jagged tear in the wallpaper visible through the window. The torn edges fluttered gently as though something within the wall inhaled and exhaled. A final whisper crept through the wind, a whisper only Evelyn heard. I never stopped waiting. The shed was small, but the silence inside felt even smaller. Every breath Evelyn took echoed faintly, as though the air itself listened. She sat on the cold wooden floor while Daniel paced the cramped space, running a tense hand through his hair. The lantern cast a warm glow, but its light trembled each time the wind brushed against the fragile walls. Evelyn could not shake the aching sensation that the voice had imprinted something inside her, something she was not ready to recognize. We need answers, Danielle muttered. If the house is tied to Thomas, then there must be records, journals, photographs, something that explains why it is calling for you. Evelyn hugged her knees tighter. I do not understand any of it. Why would a man who disappeared decades ago know me? Why does he sound like he has been waiting for me all this time? Daniel stopped pacing, because sometimes the house keeps more than memories. Sometimes it keeps pieces of people. A chill tightened her chest. Are you saying Thomas Wren is still alive in there? Daniel shook his head slowly. Not alive in the way you think. Before she could ask further, the lantern flickered again. The wind outside had gone still. The world beyond the shed felt suspended, like the dark had stopped breathing. Evelyn could hear her heartbeat so clearly. It seemed to pulse through the walls. Daniel leaned close to the window. The house looks quiet, but that does not mean anything. It might be waiting. Evelyn inhaled shakily. Waiting for what? Waiting for you. Daniel's voice carried a tremor he failed to disguise. Her stomach twisted. The thought of something inside the walls, yearning for her in a way that transcended decades, filled her with a hollow dread. She touched the side of her head, where the whisper had felt closest. The memory that flickered earlier teased her again. That gentle voice. That warmth. She squeezed her eyes shut and tried to focus on it. A face surfaced in the darkness of her mind. A man's silhouette standing beside a door. A soft laugh, her own voice saying something she could not hear. Then everything shattered into a sharp, ringing echo. Evelyn gasped, clutching her chest. "Are you okay?" Daniel rushed to her side. "I remembered something," she whispered, but it was too fast, too blurry, like something torn away before I could see the whole picture. Daniel knelt beside her. "Evelyn, if you truly knew Thomas, then something happened that forced you to forget, and the house wants you to remember." "But why?" she whispered. "Why now?" Daniel opened his mouth, but froze when a faint scraping sound drifted from the ground beneath them. Evelyn stiffened. The floorboards quivered slightly, dust trickling from between the seams. Daniel lowered the lantern. "No, it cannot reach us here." The scraping grew louder, more determined. Something moved under the shed, slow but deliberate, as though dragging itself through the earth. Evelyn felt her body turn cold, her breath shortening. The lantern flickered again, shadows skittering across the walls. Daniel whispered, "Stay behind me." The floor bulged upward for a moment before sinking back down. Evelyn backed into the corner, her eyes wide. The scraping stopped abruptly. Silence collapsed around them, thick and suffocating. Then the whisper seeped through the wooden boards beneath their feet. "Evelyn, do you remember what you promised me?" She stumbled back, shaking her head violently. "No, I never promised anything." Daniel grabbed her wrist. "Do not answer it." But the voice continued, softer now, sad. "You said you would come back. You said you would not leave me alone in the dark." Evelyn pressed her hands to her ears, but the whisper soaked through her thoughts. Daniel pulled her toward the shed door. "We are leaving now. This place is not safe anymore." He flung open the door and they rushed outside. The night had grown thicker, the air heavy with moisture. Fog curled around their feet like something alive. The Victorian house towered over the yard, its cracked walls shimmering faintly under the moonlight. Evelyn could feel the voice trailing her like a shadow. Daniel kept a tight grip on her arm, guiding her quickly across the yard. "We are going to my truck. We will find somewhere far from here, somewhere the house cannot reach." But Evelyn hesitated. The moment she turned her gaze toward the house, a wave of emotion slammed into her. Not fear this time, but grief, a grief that nearly knocked her breath away. She swallowed hard. "Daniel, what if running makes it worse?" He looked at her, disbelief and frustration flashing in his eyes. "Worse? Evelyn, it is already reaching places it never has. It is stronger now. It is calling you by name. You cannot listen to it. But what if I have to?" She she whispered. Before Daniel could respond, the ground quaked beneath them. The soil shifted as though something massive slid under the surface, moving toward them. Daniel pulled her back. "Run!" They sprinted across the yard. The fog thickened, swirling violently. Evelyn could hear faint whispers rising from the earth with every step. The voice grew louder, as if chasing them. "Evelyn, do not be afraid. I remember you." Daniel yanked her behind a tree as the ground split open momentarily, revealing a hollow darkness beneath. Evelyn screamed as a pale hand pressed upward from the dirt. Before sinking back into the crack, the fog swallowed it instantly. Daniel shoved her forward. "Keep moving." They reached his truck, parked at the edge of the property. He flung open the passenger door and practically pushed her inside. Evelyn scrambled to fasten the seatbelt while Daniel started the engine. The headlights cut through the fog, illuminating the distorted silhouette of the house. The engine roared to life, but before Daniel could pull away, every window in the truck fogged over from the inside. A whisper drifted around them. "Do not leave me again," Evelyn gasped, her breath hitching. Daniel slammed the truck into reverse, spinning the wheels across the gravel. The fog clung stubbornly to the windshield. Daniel cursed under his breath and wiped at the glass with his sleeve. The whisper persisted, swirling inside the cab like wind threading through invisible cracks. "You were mine once. You are still mine." Evelyn shook her head. "Stop! Please stop." Daniel reached across the console, gripping her shoulder firmly. "Evelyn, listen to me. This is not a man anymore. It is something the house created, something trapped, something starving." The whisper hardened. "I am not trapped." "You are." The truck lurched violently to one side as something struck it from beneath. Evelyn screamed, grabbing the dashboard. Daniel fought to keep the wheel steady. The headlights flickered wildly as the truck skidded across the muddy ground. "We are leaving," Daniel growled. "I do not care what it wants." The whisper turned into a guttural cry, shaking the truck. The vehicle jerked again, but Daniel accelerated, forcing the truck forward until they crossed the edge of the property line. The moment they left the boundary, everything stopped. The fog, the shaking, the whisper. Silence swallowed the night. Daniel slowed the truck, his hands trembling. Evelyn stared ahead, tears streaming down her cheeks. But in the back of her mind, the last echo lingered like a bruise. "You cannot run from what you are." Daniel kept driving long after the house vanished behind the rolling fog. The road stretched into the darkness like a black vein, illuminated only by the trembling glow of the truck's headlights. Evelyn pressed her forehead to the cool window glass, her breath still uneven. The silence between them felt heavy, as though the whisper they escaped clung to the very air inside the truck. After several miles, Daniel finally spoke. "We cannot go back there, not until we know what we are dealing with." Evelyn nodded weakly, but she could not stop thinking about the voice, the way it said her name, the way it claimed she had promised something. Every word it spoke pressed against the inside of her skull like a memory begging to break free. She closed her eyes, but the darkness behind her lids only deepened the sensation. "We should stay at a motel tonight," Daniel said. "Somewhere crowded, somewhere that thing cannot reach." But even as he said it, Evelyn sensed doubt in his voice. When the house reached the shed, she realized distance no longer mattered. The house was not just a place. It was something alive, something bound to her through a past she could not remember. They found a small roadside motel with flickering neon lights. Daniel parked the truck as far from the main road as possible. Evelyn stepped out and inhaled the stale night air. The parking lot was quiet. The only sound, the hum of the sign overhead. Daniel grabbed their bags and led her toward the office. Inside the check-in area, a balding man sat behind the counter reading a newspaper. He looked up, offering a tired smile. "Rough night?" he asked casually. Daniel forced a nod. Something like that. The man handed them a room key. "Second floor, third door on the left." As they walked toward the stairs, Evelyn felt a strange pressure in her chest. The motel seemed harmless, but she could not shake the sense of being observed. Shadows stretched too far along the concrete walkway. The humming lights buzzed unevenly like they were struggling to stay lit. Their room was small and outdated but quiet. Daniel locked the door and checked the windows twice before setting their bags down. Evelyn sat on the edge of the bed, her fingers twisting nervously. "Do you think it followed us?" she whispered. Daniel knelt in front of her. Whatever happened at the house obeyed its boundaries until tonight. Leaving the property should have severed its hold. But if it connected to you specifically, then we need to understand why. "I do not remember anything," she whispered, "but earlier something flashed in my mind. A door, a man standing by it, and I felt something, like I knew him." Daniel sat beside her. "Evelyn, how old were you when you moved to this area?" She blinked at him. "I grew up in another state. I never lived here." "Are you sure?" The question struck her deeper than it should have. "Yes, I think so." She frowned. "I remember my childhood, my home, my parents, everything." But as she spoke, the certainty faltered. She tried to grasp her earliest memories and found them hazier than she remembered. Not gone, just distant, blurred, like pages smudged over time. Daniel noticed the shift in her expression. "If something happened to you in that house, something traumatic, it is possible your mind buried it. But if the house remembers you, then it means you were there." Evelyn stared at the carpet. A soft tremor rippled beneath her feet. She jerked back. "Did you feel that?" Daniel tensed. "Stay here." He approached the bathroom door and pushed it open slowly. The light flickered on. Nothing seemed out of place. He stepped back into the room. "Maybe it is just old wiring." But Evelyn shook her head. The tremor felt intentional, like something brushed the floor beneath her. She stood and approached the wall near the head of the bed. A faint warmth radiated from it. She placed her palm flat against the surface. A heartbeat pulsed back. Daniel grabbed her wrist. "Stop! Do not listen to it." But the wall vibrated gently under her touch. A whisper seeped through the thin motel plaster like mist bleeding through cloth. "Evelyn," she stepped back sharply. "No, no, we are too far. You should not be here." The whisper deepened, wrapping around her thoughts. "You always run from the truth. Come find me." Daniel stepped in front of her. "Leave her alone." A low groan moved through the room like pressure shifting beneath the floor. The bathroom mirror cracked suddenly, a spider web fracture splitting its surface. Evelyn screamed. Daniel pulled her away from the wall. The lights flickered unpredictably, casting frantic shadows across the room. "We have to get out," Daniel said. He grabbed the room key and pulled her into the hallway. The motel corridor was empty but echoed with a strange hollow frequency. The overhead lights buzzed loudly. Evelyn clutched Daniel's arm as they hurried toward the stairs. Halfway down the walkway, Evelyn stopped abruptly. A door at the far end of the corridor creaked open by itself. Inside the room, only darkness waited, thick and unmoving. Daniel tugged her. "Do not look at it," but she could not. Something drew her gaze toward the door. A dim outline formed inside the dark room. A figure, tall, still, watching. She choked on her breath. "Thomas!" Daniel cursed under his breath. "Move!" He pulled her down the stairs. As they reached the ground level, a loud crack echoed from above. Evelyn glanced up. The figure stepped into the light. Its form blurred like a memory half erased. Its face indistinguishable, but its posture familiar in a way that flooded her with unbearable grief. Evelyn stumbled. I know him, Daniel." He dragged her toward the truck. "Get in, now." They jumped inside and Daniel sped out of the parking lot. The figure remained at the railing above, still watching, its blurred face following the movement of the truck until the motel vanished behind them. Evelyn trembled violently. It was him. I know it was him. Daniel gripped the wheel. That was not a man, not anymore. The house is sending pieces of itself to reach you. She pressed her palms to her temples. The voice slipped through the cracks of her mind again, soft and mournful. "You promised you would come back to the door, the forgotten door." Evelyn gasped. "The door. That is what I saw earlier in my memory." Daniel turned sharply to look at her. "What door?" "A door inside the house. A door with peeling white paint, and he was standing next to it." Daniel exhaled slowly. "Then we need to find that door." Evelyn looked at him in horror. "You want to go back after everything? If that door holds the truth of what happened to you, then yes. We cannot fight something we do not understand." She shook, torn between terror and a strange longing that grew stronger with every whispered echo. The forgotten door. The house wanted her to find it, and deep inside she knew she had seen it before, in another life. Another memory, another promise. The truck sped deeper into the night, and somewhere far behind them, the Victorian house groaned softly, as though preparing for their return. The road stretched endlessly before them, a thin ribbon of cracked asphalt, swallowed by restless shadows. The truck's headlights carved a narrow path through the darkness, revealing little more than the swirling remnants of fog still clinging to the night. Evelyn sat rigid in the passenger seat, her eyes wide and unblinking, as if afraid that closing them would allow the whisper to return. Daniel's grip tightened on the wheel. He said nothing, but the tension in his jaw spoke loudly. What they had seen at the motel was not a hallucination. It was not some trick of exhaustion. The figure had been real, and its presence meant the house was no longer bound by its broken walls. It had reached beyond its foundation. It had found her. Evelyn finally broke the silence. "Daniel, if the house sent him, then it knows where we are going. It knows what we are planning." Daniel shot her a quick glance. "Let it know. It changes nothing. We are finding that door Whatever memory you lost, whatever happened to you in that house, we face it on our terms, not its. But Evelyn trembled. A hollow ache pulsed beneath her ribs. It felt like a memory pressing upward, desperate to breathe. Daniel, what if the door is not just a memory? What if it is a place I was never supposed to open? Then why did he want you to come back to it? He asked. She swallowed hard. Because I think something terrible waits behind it. They drove for nearly an hour before Daniel pulled into the parking lot of a closed diner on the outskirts of town. The neon sign flickered sporadically, painting the truck in brief flashes of electric blue. He parked at the far end, away from the road, where the shadows pooled thickest. "We need a plan," Daniel said, shutting off the engine. "Going in blind will get us killed, or worse." Evelyn stared through the windshield at the faint outline of trees swaying in the wind. The air felt heavier here, as if the night leaned closer to listen. She drew a shaky breath. "What do you think the door is?" Daniel hesitated. "Old houses often have sealed rooms, attics, basements, places that were closed off after something happened. You said the door had peeling white paint. That means it has been sealed for a long time. Maybe decades." Her hands tightened into fists. "And I was there. I saw it. I know I did." She pressed her fingertips to her temple. The memory tugged again, blurry but insistent. The door, a pale hand reaching for hers, a voice telling her not to be afraid, a warmth that felt like safety, a warmth that now sickened her. Daniel leaned forward. "Evelyn, try to think. Even a small detail might help. What else did you see?" She closed her eyes. Darkness, a room with no light, a faint humming coming from the other side of the door. And him. Thomas. He was standing there like he was waiting for me to choose. Choose what? She opened her eyes and stared straight ahead. Choose whether to open it. Daniel exhaled sharply. Then we need to understand what was behind it and why he wanted you to open it. Silence fell between them again, but it did not last long. A tapping sound struck the side of the truck. 3 slow, deliberate taps. Daniel jerked upright. He grabbed the flashlight and angled it toward the passenger window. Nothing. The glass reflected only their own frightened expressions. Another tap, this time on Evelyn's side. She recoiled instantly. Daniel leaned across the console, his hand hovering near her shoulder. "Do not look outside," but she already had. Her breath froze. Just beyond the glass, faintly illuminated by the neon glow, a set of handprints spread slowly across the window, not pressed from the outside, but forming from within the glass itself, as though the prints emerged from the material like a memory surfacing. Evelyn clamped a hand over her mouth. Daniel swore under his breath and tried to start the engine. It sputtered once, twice, then fell silent. Evelyn felt the pressure return, thick and suffocating. The whisper seeped into the cab, curling beneath her skin. "You left me at the door. Do you remember why?" Daniel slammed his fist against the steering wheel. "No, you do not belong here. Leave her alone." The whisper ignored him. "You promised you would open it. You promised you would not leave me in the dark." Evelyn shook violently. "I never promised anything. I do not remember." A soft knock echoed from the roof of the truck. Then another. Something crawled across the metal, slow and dragging. The roof dented inward slightly. Daniel grabbed her wrists. "We have to get out." Now, he forced his door open and pulled her into the cold night. The wind chilled her instantly, but it was nothing compared to the cold crawling inside her chest. They hurried behind the diner, ducking beneath a rusted fire escape. Daniel cast the flashlight beam across the fog. Nothing moved, yet the silence felt wrong. Too still, too expectant. Evelyn pressed her back against the wall. Daniel, what if the door is not just part of the house? What if the door is what bound me to it in the first place? He turned to her sharply. Explain. She gripped her head, gasping as another fragment of memory surged. A room filled with darkness. Thomas kneeling beside her, his voice trembling as he whispered, "I cannot survive it alone, but if you come with me, we will never be apart." Her heart lurched painfully. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. "Evelyn, what did you see?" She stared at him, tears gathering in her eyes. "I think I agreed. I think I told him yes." Daniel paled. "You agreed to what?" She shook her head. "I do not know, but it was something the house wanted, something the door required." A deep groaning sound echoed across the parking lot. The diner windows shuddered. The fog thickened, swallowing the building's edges. Evelyn clung to Daniel's sleeve. The whisper drifted again. "Closer now. Come home. The door is waiting. You are the one who left it unfinished." Evelyn collapsed to her knees. The memory pressed harder, tearing at the edges of her mind. She saw herself as a child, her small hand resting in Thomas's, his face pale, frightened, desperate. The door in front of them glowing faintly from within. He whispered, "It will take me if I open it alone, but if you open it with me." Daniel knelt beside her. "Evelyn, please stay with me. Do not follow it." The memory surged. Cracking open, she heard her own young voice whisper, "I promise I will come back for you." Evelyn screamed. The whisper's tone shifted instantly, no longer mournful, triumphant. "Yes, you remember." Daniel grabbed her shoulders. "Evelyn, look at me. You did not know what you were doing. You were a child. Whatever that door was, whatever it took, it lied to you." The fog swirled violently around them as if reacting to his words. Evelyn stumbled back from him, shaking. "Daniel." The door took him. It trapped him. Daniel gripped her hands. "Then we are ending this. We go back. We find that door. We close whatever was open. And we get you free." But the wind carried the whisper again, soft and longing. "You cannot free yourself without freeing me." Evelyn's heart thundered. The memory had awakened something. The door was no longer forgotten. It was waiting, and now it knew she was coming back. The sky had begun to pale at the edges by the time Daniel's truck rolled back onto the cracked rural road leading toward Ashford Lane. Dawn lingered somewhere behind the horizon, but the night refused to loosen its grip. Clouds hung low, smothering the faint hints of morning light, as if the world itself resisted the idea of a new day rising over what waited in that house. Evelyn sat rigid in the passenger seat, her hands clasped so tightly her knuckles had turned white. Daniel glanced at her every few minutes, though his eyes usually snapped back to the road. Partly out of caution, partly because seeing fear coil around her expression made his stomach twist. "We do not go inside blindly," Daniel said. We get in, find the door, and figure out what happened to you. In and out. Evelyn forced a nod, though her breath trembled. The memory fragments swirling inside her mind felt heavier now, more solid, as if they were preparing to stitch themselves together. Every mile closer to the house made her chest tighten a little more. Daniel continued, "Whatever Thomas wanted from you, he wanted it enough to reach across decades. That means the door did something to both of you, something binding." Evelyn stared through the windshield. The trees lining the road leaned inward as though listening. "I do not think the door took him," she whispered. "I think he chose it." Daniel frowned. "No one chooses something like that." Evelyn swallowed. "A child might, if she thought she was helping." He looked at her sharply. "Evelyn, you were not responsible for what happened." She said nothing, but her silence answered for her. When the truck turned onto Ashford Lane, the Victorian house emerged from the fog like a decayed monument. It stood crooked and shadow-cloaked, its windows hollow and watching, its siding warped like skin stretched too thin. The broken wallpaper inside the living room window fluttered, as though something inside exhaled a slow, steady breath. Evelyn shivered. The whisper did not call to her immediately, but she felt a hum beneath her ribs, like a magnet slowly aligning with another. Daniel parked several yards from the porch. Fog pooled around the tires as he shut off the engine. "Ready," he murmured. "No," she answered honestly, "but we have to do this." They stepped out. The air seemed colder here than anywhere else on the road. The house creaked softly as though it recognized their presence. Daniel readied his flashlight, but even the beam appeared thinner as it cut through the dense mist. Evelyn followed him up the steps, each board groaning beneath their weight. The front door stood slightly open, though neither of them remembered leaving it that way. Evelyn's pulse pounded. Daniel pushed the door with the flashlight's edge. It swung inward slowly, releasing a draft of air that smelled faintly of dust, rot, and something older. Inside, the house felt alive. A soft vibration pulsed beneath the floor, almost like a heartbeat. Shadows dripped from the corners, thick and unmoving. The whisper did not return immediately, but Evelyn felt its presence like a breath on her neck. Daniel closed the door behind them. "Let us move carefully. We find the door. Nothing else." Evelyn nodded, though her attention drifted toward the living room wall where the wallpaper had torn open the night before. The split remained, jagged and gaping. As she stared at it, the edges curled inward, as if the wall were inhaling. She tore her gaze away. The house bent the rules of space and perception. She could feel it. Corridors stretched longer than they should. Shadows clung like cobwebs. The air distorted gently around certain corners. Daniel motioned her toward the staircase. "If the door is old, it might be in the basement or a sealed attic. We check both." But as Evelyn stepped onto the first stair, a sudden rush of cold air swept past her. A whisper rose thin at first, then sharpening. "Evelyn, you came back. I knew you would." Daniel tensed. "Stay close to me." They climbed the staircase, each step creaking a fraction too long. At the top, the hallway stretched outward in both directions. The wallpaper looked swollen, like something inside the walls pushed toward the surface. Evelyn's breath breath hitched. She felt pulled toward the right corridor, a gentle tug at the base of her mind, a memory guiding her steps. Daniel noticed. "Where are you going?" She pointed. "I think the door is this way." He followed, though his eyes scanned every shadow. They reached a narrow wooden door at the end of the hallway. Dust coated the knob. Evelyn hesitated before touching it. Her fingers hovered, trembling. "Behind this door," she whispered. "I remember hearing something, a humming sound, like the house breathing." Daniel steadied her wrist. "Then we do this together." She opened the door. A wave of cold swept over them. Stairs descended into darkness, steeper and narrower than any normal basement steps. The air smelled damp, aged, and metallic. They descended slowly. The darkness pressed around them, swallowing the flashlight beam's edges. At the bottom, the basement widened into an empty chamber. Dust-coated furniture lay scattered, broken chairs, a warped table, a toppled shelf, but Evelyn ignored them. Her gaze drifted toward the far wall. There it was, the forgotten door. Peeling white paint clung to the wooden frame like old scabs. The edges were cracked, the surface slightly warped. A faint light pulsed from behind it, slow, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. Evelyn's body locked in place. Her lungs burned. This was it, the exact door she had seen in her fragmented memories. The exact door Thomas had begged her to open. Daniel stepped in front of her. "Do not go near it." But even he could not hide his shock. The door looked wrong, too tall, too narrow, as if reality had stretched around it. Evelyn took a step forward before she realized she had moved. The memory surged stronger. A child's voice, her own, whispering, "I promise, I will not leave you." A man's voice answering, soft with relief. "Then open the door with me." Her stomach twisted violently. Daniel grabbed her arm. "Evelyn, stop! You are remembering, and that is good, but you cannot let it control you." She pressed a shaking hand to her forehead. "I was here, with him. I remember standing exactly where I am now." Daniel's jaw tightened. What happened next? She forced herself to breathe. "He asked me to open the door with him. He said he could not open it alone. He said it needed both of us." Daniel frowned. Doors do not need people. Something else was manipulating him. Evelyn stared at the pulsing light beneath the door. The hum vibrated through her bones. "That door is not a room," she whispered. "It is something else." A threshold, then the whisper returned stronger than it had ever been. "Open it, Evelyn. I am still here, waiting for you, just like you promised." Daniel stepped between her and the door. She remembers enough. "You cannot have her." The basement walls groaned. Dust rained from the ceiling. The floorboards beneath them trembled. The whisper grew darker. "You cannot protect her. You never could." Daniel lifted the flashlight and pointed it directly at the door. The wood shuddered under the beam, as though recoiling. Evelyn backed away. Her heart pounded so hard she felt it in her throat. She whispered, "Daniel, if the door took him, then something is behind it, something he became part of." Daniel lowered his voice. "And we are not opening that thing, not unless we know how to close it again." The basement lights, long dead for decades, flickered on for a single second, bathing the room in a sickly yellow glow. In that moment, the door bulged. Something pushed from the other side. A handprint, pale, distorted, pressed through the wood as if it were soft clay. Evelyn screamed. Daniel pulled her behind him. The whisper roared. "You came back for me. Open the door." "Evelyn, open it now." The basement shook violently as though the entire house convulsed. Daniel held her tight. "Do not listen to it. Do not look at the door." But Evelyn could not look away. The handprint grew clearer, more defined, and another appeared beside it. Then another. "He is not alone," she choked. Daniel's grip tightened. "We are leaving now." As he pulled her toward the stairs, the whisper followed, cold and triumphant. "You cannot run anymore. You came back. The door remembers you." And behind them, the door pulsed again. Alive, waiting. The basement stairs shook beneath their feet as Daniel and Evelyn fled upward. The light behind them throbbing like the heartbeat of something waking after a long sleep. Evelyn clutched the railing, her legs trembling as the whisper curled up the stairwell in a cold, rising swell. "Evelyn, do not leave again. You promised." She felt the words digging into her bones, tugging her backward. Her grip faltered for a moment, and Daniel caught her before she stumbled. "Keep moving," he urged, his voice tight with fear. "We are not opening that door. Not now. Not ever." But the house groaned in protest. The floorboards warped beneath their shoes, bending like something beneath the wood pushed upward. Dust rained from the ceiling, cascading down like a shower of age and decay. They reached the top step just as a loud crack echoed behind them. Evelyn dared to look back. The door had begun to split. Wooden fragments peeled outward, revealing slivers of pulsating light. Something inside was forcing its way through. Daniel slammed the basement door shut. He locked it, though both of them knew the flimsy latch meant nothing. The whisper pressed against the other side like breath against glass. "Open the door, Evelyn. He is waiting." Evelyn pressed both hands over her ears. The sound vibrated through her anyway, bypassing flesh and sinking straight into her mind. She stumbled, gripping the wall as a new memory flickered. A child again, standing before the glowing door, her hand in Thomas's, his face pale, hopeful, desperate, his voice trembling. "If we open it together, it will not take us. It will let us through." But then the memory shifted. She saw something else now, a shape behind the door, a shadow stretching impossibly long, fingers reaching. "Hungry," Evelyn gasped, falling to her knees. No, it was lying to us. The door was lying. Daniel crouched beside her. "What do you see?" She shook her head. Not just Thomas, something else, something that wanted him, something that used me to trick him. The whisper deepened, a low, resonant rumble that vibrated through the house. "You remember wrong, Evelyn. I never lied to you. Come see for yourself." Daniel pulled her to her feet. "We are getting out of this house now." But the moment they stepped into the hallway, the walls shifted. What had once been a straight corridor now stretched unnaturally long. Wallpaper rippled like flesh. Doorways twisted, melting into the walls. The entire house was moving, reshaping itself around them. Evelyn backed away. "Daniel, it is trying to trap us." He grabbed her hand. "Stay close. We keep going until we find the exit." But the house had other plans. A slow, deliberate creak echoed overhead. The ceiling sagged, bulging as though something crawled across its beams. Dust drifted down, spiraling through the dim light. Evelyn froze. "Daniel, something is above us." Before he could respond, the ceiling split open with a sharp tear. A pale arm, too long and too thin, slid out from between the wooden boards. Its fingers stretched toward her, joints bending in unnatural angles. Evelyn screamed. Daniel pulled her backward as the arm scraped across the air, reaching for her hair, her face. "Run!" he shouted. They bolted down the hall. Behind them, the arm retreated into the ceiling, only for another to stretch from the wall ahead of them, then another from the floor. The house was coming alive, reshaping itself into a cage. Hallway wallpaper peeled back, revealing layers of wood and something darker, like veins running through the walls. The whisper followed them. "Stop running. You came here for me. Do not fight it." Daniel shoved open the nearest door. They stumbled inside what had once been a bedroom. Furniture lay overturned, sheets rotted, curtains torn. The air was icy cold, and a faint hum filled the room like electricity. Evelyn backed against the far wall. Her lungs heaved, unable to pull enough air. The whisper pressed harder. "The door is part of you, Evelyn. It remembers your promise." Daniel grabbed a fallen bed frame and pushed it against the door. He dragged a dresser in front of it next, creating a barrier. The walls trembled in response, as if angered by resistance. Evelyn sank to the floor, pulling her knees to her chest. Tears traced down her cheeks. Daniel knelt beside her. "Listen to me," he said. "You did nothing wrong. Whatever happened in this house when you were a child, you were manipulated. The door used you." Evelyn shook her head. "But I told him I would come back. I told him I would not leave him alone." Daniel cupped her face gently. "You were a child who trusted someone, who was terrified. You did not owe anything to that door or to whatever is behind it." A loud thud slammed against the bedroom door. The furniture jumped from the impact. Evelyn flinched. Another thud, louder. The whisper curled around the room, furious. "Let me in, Evelyn. You promised me. You and I belong on the same side of the door." Daniel stood, grabbing the broken leg of a chair like a weapon. His stance widened, his breathing even. Evelyn watched him, and something inside her cracked. He was willing to fight this thing, whatever it was, for her, but the whisper did not stop. "Do you know what happened to him, Evelyn? Do you remember the truth?" "You let go of his hand." Evelyn froze. A wave of nausea rolled through her. The memory surged. The glowing door, Thomas's hand gripping hers tightly, the ground trembling, the door pulling, gravitational, hungry, Thomas screaming her name, and her own hand slipping from his, not by choice, not betrayal, a force ripping them apart. She cried out, clutching her head. Daniel rushed back to her side. "What do you see?" Her voice shook. The door did not take him because he opened it. It took him because it needed someone. And when I pulled away, it chose him. The whisper hissed, sharp and venomous. "You left him, and now you must replace him." Daniel stepped in front of her. "She is not going anywhere with you." The room shuddered. The furniture blocking the door slid across the floor as though shoved by an invisible hand. The dresser toppled. The bed frame bent inward. Evelyn staggered to her feet, her vision blurred. "Daniel, it is trying to get in." He grabbed her wrist. "Then we get out of this room." But the walls were melting. wood buckling outward as pale, distorted hands pressed through the material. Their fingers clawed the air, stretching toward Evelyn. She backed away until her spine hit the far wall. The whisper filled her skull. He is waiting behind the door. You can still save him. Open it, Evelyn. Open it and take his place. Daniel stepped in front of her again. You are not taking her. The hands lunged. Daniel swung the broken chair leg, smashing one hand away, then another, but more pushed through, relentless. Evelyn screamed. The entire room convulsed, light flickering violently. Daniel shouted, "We move now." He grabbed her hand and yanked her toward the window. With one strike, he smashed the glass. Cold air howled in. The house shrieked an impossible sound of anger and pain. Evelyn climbed through first, dropping onto the porch roof. Daniel followed a moment later. The roof groaned beneath their weight. Behind them, hands burst through the bedroom window frame. Evelyn scrambled down the gutter pipe, landing hard on the ground. Daniel jumped after her. The house rumbled, its walls swelling outward as though the entire structure prepared to lunge. Evelyn grabbed Daniel's arm. "We have to run." But the whisper returned, soft this time, almost pleading. "Evelyn, do not leave me alone in the dark again." She froze. Tears streaked down her face. Daniel squeezed her hand. He said, "Keep running and do not look back." Together they ran from the house as it shook behind them, its windows glowing faintly with the pulsing heartbeat of the door. And somewhere inside, something whispered her name again. Not angry, not triumphant, lonely. The sun had risen, but it brought no comfort. Dawn poured over Ashford Lane in muted gray, as though light itself refused to touch the house that had almost swallowed them. Daniel and Evelyn staggered through the overgrown field behind the property, their breaths harsh and uneven. Fog clung stubbornly to the earth, the last remnants of the night refusing to dissipate. Evelyn's legs trembled with every step. Her mind felt bruised from the voices, the memories, the claws of the house tearing at her thoughts. They finally stopped beneath a cluster of old trees, their branches gnarled and twisting like the fingers that had reached for her moments earlier. Daniel kept a hand on her back until her shaking slowed. "We cannot keep running like this," Daniel said softly. "Every time we get away, it gets stronger." Evelyn hugged herself. "I can feel it in my head, like it is turning pages in a book I forgot existed." Daniel looked at her carefully. "You remembered something important back there, something about how Thomas was taken." She pulled away slightly, rubbing her temples as a migraine pulsed beneath her skull. "I let go of him. No, it pulled him from me, but it used me to get close enough." Daniel's jaw tightened. Doors do not choose people. Something behind it used Thomas, and now it is using your memories to pull you back. But Evelyn shook her head. "No, it is not using them. It is giving them back." The air seemed to still. Evelyn lifted her gaze, eyes distant. "When I left the house as a child, something happened. I remember crying. I remember my mother holding me. But after that, everything changed. I stopped talking. I stopped sleeping. Then, one day, it was gone. The memory, everything about the house, everything about Thomas, just gone." Daniel inhaled sharply. "Someone erased your memory. Evelyn nodded, and now the house is giving it back. But why? Daniel asked. Why now? Her voice trembled. Because something is waking up behind that door. Something old. Something that needs me to finish what it started. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. Then we do not let it finish anything. But before Evelyn could respond, the ground beneath them vibrated. A deep, low hum rippled through the soil, spreading upward through the trees. Birds scattered into the sky, screeching in frantic bursts. Daniel grabbed her hand. It felt that we escaped, he whispered. The fog behind them thickened suddenly, coiling like smoke. Shadows swirled inside it, forming vague shapes that pulsed with a faint glow. Evelyn stumbled backward. Daniel whispered, "Run!" They ran through the field, pushing through tall grass that whipped against their legs. The hum grew louder, deeper, vibrating through the air. Evelyn could hear faint voices layered beneath it. Hundreds of whispers, rising and falling like breath. Not just Thomas, others. She gasped. Daniel. There are more. Behind the door, more than him. Daniel didn't slow. We are not going back there until we know how to fight it. But the fog surged forward, converging into a concentrated wall of darkness. Something moved inside it. Something tall, thin, angular. Its shape flickered like a glitch in reality. Evelyn felt a cold shock run through her. She tugged Daniel's arm. Left, go left. They veered sharply, running toward the old farm road that bordered the property. The shadow followed, gliding soundlessly across the grass. Evelyn dared a glance over her shoulder. The figure had no face, no form, just stretched darkness, pulling the fog inward like a living void. Daniel shouted, "Do not look at it." They reached the dirt road. A rusted gate stood ahead, its hinges broken. Daniel shoved it open and pulled Evelyn through. The moment they crossed the boundary, the shadow paused. The fog writhed around it, recoiling slightly as though the road formed a barrier. Evelyn collapsed onto the ground, gasping for air. Daniel leaned over her. "Are you hurt?" "No," but it touched my mind again. I could feel the voices, not the house, the others, all the ones it took. Daniel crouched in front of her. "Evelyn, you said the door wanted two people to open it. One to anchor, one to offer. Thomas offered himself, and you were supposed to anchor him. It tricked a child into helping." Her breath trembled. "And now it wants me to take his place." The wind carried a faint whisper. Evelyn stiffened, but the voice didn't sound like the house. It sounded like Thomas, weak, fading. "Evelyn, hurry." She covered her mouth, tears forming. Daniel shook his head. "That is not him. That is the house using his voice." "No," she whispered. "I felt him for a moment. I felt him. He is still there." Daniel, trapped. Daniel did not deny it, but his silence told her everything. They needed help. "We cannot fight this alone," Evelyn said. "The house is alive, changing. It remembers everything I forgot, and it is growing stronger." Daniel stood. "Then we find someone who knows its history, someone who can tell us what that door really is." Evelyn wiped her face. Who? Daniel hesitated. I know someone, an old historian in town. She researched unexplained disappearances, local legends, folklore. If anyone knows what that door is, it is her. Evelyn exhaled shakily. Then let us go. As he helped her up, the fog behind them shifted. A single whisper drifted across the air. Come back. The door is open. Evelyn shivered. Daniel took her hand and pulled her toward the truck parked farther down the farm road. It was old, dented, and dusty, but it was their only hope. As they climbed inside, Evelyn stared at the house one last time. It stood in the distance, crooked and breathing, its walls glowing faintly with the pulse of the door beneath it. Daniel started the engine, but before he drove off, he said something that chilled her even more. Evelyn, if there are more people behind that door, then whatever is there is not just waiting for you. It is hungry, and the longer it stays open, the more it will remember. The truck rolled forward, rattling down the dirt road. Evelyn wrapped her arms around herself, her eyes locked on the fading silhouette of the house. She whispered, "Thomas, hold on," because whether she liked it or not, the house had awakened the memory it stole, and now the memory would not let her go. The road into town felt longer than Evelyn remembered, though she realized her memory could not be trusted anymore. Every passing tree seemed to lean toward the truck, watching. Every shadow between the branches swelled with potential shape. Daniel kept his gaze forward, jaw tight, knuckles pale on the steering wheel. Evelyn stared out the window, fingers pressed against the cool glass. The house still pulsed somewhere behind them. She felt it not as a sound, but as a gentle pressure at the base of her skull, as though a thread ran between them, stretched thin but unbroken. Daniel spoke quietly. We need answers, and she is the only one I know who might have them. Who is she? Evelyn asked. Marjorie Hale, local historian, paranormal researcher. Everyone in town thinks she is strange, but she has spent decades studying Ashford Lane, the disappearances, and the old legends. If anybody knows what that door is, it is Marjorie. Evelyn clasped her trembling hands. Will she believe us? Daniel let out a shaky laugh. Honestly, she will probably say she has been waiting for us. They turned down a narrow street lined with ancient homes, each more weathered than the last. At the end stood a small, slanted cottage wrapped in ivy and shadow. Wind chimes dangled from the porch, crafted from old keys, bones, and scraps of metal that clinked together in discordant music. Evelyn shivered. This place feels wrong. Daniel took a breath. Marjorie is harmless. Mostly as they approached the porch, the front door swung open before they could knock. A small woman stepped into the doorway, her posture impossibly straight despite her age. Her gray hair fell in braided strands, her eyes sharp and strangely bright. Evelyn Harper, she said without expression, and Daniel Whitmore. Come in, quickly. You should not linger in the daylight. Evelyn exchanged a startled glance with Daniel before stepping inside. The interior of the cottage was dim, filled with shelves of cracked books, jars of preserved herbs, scattered notes, and ancient-looking diagrams pinned to the walls. A fire burned low in the hearth, though the room felt no warmer for it. Marjorie shut the door behind them. "Sit." Her tone carried no warmth, but no hostility either. She simply spoke like someone who expected to be obeyed. Daniel frowned. "Marjorie, how did you know we were coming?" She pointed a thin finger at Evelyn. "Because she woke it." Evelyn's breath faltered. "You know about the house?" Marjorie's gaze bored into her. "I know about the door." Something in Evelyn's chest tightened. "You know what it is?" Marjorie nodded once. "The forgotten door. One of the oldest types. Before houses existed, before towns had names, before people understood what they were inviting in." Daniel stepped forward. "Then tell us what it wants with her." Marjorie motioned for them to sit at a round wooden table cluttered with maps and faded photographs. She lit a lantern, and shadows twisted up the walls. Marjorie began. "The forgotten door is not a portal, and it is not a doorway in the human sense. It is an anchor, a boundary between where we live and where they do." "They," Evelyn whispered. "The others," I heard. Marjorie nodded. "They have no form, no voice, no shape. Not until they take one from us. They require someone to anchor them, someone who can be convinced to open the door willingly, someone who trusts easily. A child is perfect." Evelyn trembled. "And Thomas Wren was not its first choice." Marjorie interrupted gently. "You were." The room swayed. Daniel steadied her. Marjorie continued. "It needs two. One to offer themselves. One to anchor the sacrifice." You held Thomas's hand. You stood closest to the door, and in that moment, it chose both of you. Evelyn felt the world narrowing. "I never wanted that." "Children do not need to want," she replied softly. "They only need to be near." Daniel clenched his jaw. "If this thing took Thomas, why does it want her now, after all these years?" Marjorie took a slow breath. "Because when the memory was removed, the anchor weakened. But now that it is returning, the bond reforms, and a promise made to the door is never forgotten." Evelyn's voice cracked. "I was a child. That should not count." Marjorie's eyes softened for the first time. "Evil cares nothing for fairness." Evelyn lowered her head, tears forming again. Her memories swirled Thomas's voice, the trembling door, the warmth of his hand, and then the ripping force that tore them apart. Marjorie placed a trembling hand on hers. "You did not fail him. The door was always going to take someone, and it still has him. But that means..." Evelyn looked up. "Means what?" "He may still be reachable, not alive as you knew him, but present, trapped in its echo." Daniel straightened. "Then we free him." Marjorie shook her head. "No, the door does not release what it takes, but you may communicate. You may learn how to seal it." Evelyn's heart pounded. "Seal it forever." Marjorie opened a worn leather book. She flipped to a page showing a crude sketch of the forgotten door, an impossibly tall frame with tangled shadows beneath it. "There are two ways to close it," Marjorie said. "The first is to fulfill the promise, to open the door fully, but doing so completes the anchor, and the door will never close again." Daniel swallowed hard. "What is the second way?" Marjorie hesitated. "The second requires breaking the anchor, severing the bond entirely." Evelyn leaned closer. "How?" Marjorie looked at her with sorrow. "The anchor must willingly reject the promise, deny it, tear it from their mind. but the door will fight you. It will try to break you, and if you fail, it will take you to. Evelyn's blood ran cold. It wants me to be the anchor, to finish what was started. Marjorie nodded, and the more memories return, the stronger the bond becomes. A rumbling sound vibrated through the cottage floor. Evelyn gasped. Daniel stepped back. Marjorie, what was that? Marjorie's face darkened. It has grown bold. It should not reach this far from the house. The lantern flickered. Shadows on the walls stretched upward like long, reaching arms. A whisper slithered through the air. Evelyn. Evelyn pressed her palms to her ears. No, not here. Marjorie grabbed her wrists. Stay with me. It cannot take you while you are in my home. I have old protections, but they will not last if you let it in. The whisper grew sharper. You left him. You abandoned him in the door. You cannot run from this memory. Evelyn screamed, the words slicing through her mind. Daniel held her shoulders as she trembled violently. Marjorie flipped another page in her book. Evelyn, look at this. She forced her eyes open. The page showed a crude drawing of two figures at the door, one entering, one being pulled behind. Marjorie whispered, "This is what the door demands, but it has not won yet." The whisper hissed. Come back. The door is open. Evelyn's breathing slowed. Her voice trembled. I want to save him, but I do not want to be taken. Marjorie nodded. Then you must face the door, but not as a child, not as the anchor it wanted. You must face it knowing the truth. Evelyn felt something inside her steady, small but real. Then I will. Daniel grabbed her hand. Evelyn, we will face it together. But Marjorie shook her head. No, she must face it alone, or the door may take both of you. Evelyn's heart nearly stopped. Daniel stepped forward. I am not leaving her. Marjorie raised her voice. If you enter with her, the door will have two again, and this time, it will not let go. Silence fell. Evelyn wiped her tears. Then I face it alone. The whisper purred approvingly. Yes, come back to me. But Evelyn raised her head, voice stronger than before. No, if I come back, it will be to close you. The whisper recoiled. The lantern dimmed. Marjorie exhaled. Then we prepare for what comes next. Evelyn nodded slowly. For the first time, the fear did not drown her. It sharpened her, because the house had taken her memory, but now she was taking it back. Marjorie's cottage felt smaller as night fell, as if the walls were inching closer with each passing hour. The air inside had grown thick and heavy, vibrating with a pulsing tension Evelyn could feel in her teeth. She sat at the round wooden table, staring at the drawing of the forgotten door. The crude sketch seemed almost alive now, each line trembling as though it wanted to crawl off the page. Daniel paced behind her, unable to sit still. Every few steps he glanced toward the window, checking the darkness outside for any sign that the house or whatever lived behind its walls had followed them. Marjorie stood by the hearth, stirring a pot of herbs that filled the cottage with a sharp, earthy scent. The smoke drifted upward and clung to the rafters, forming thin trails that looked alarmingly like the glowing tendrils Evelyn had begun seeing in her memories. Night has always given the door strength, Marjorie said without turning around. It becomes easier for it to push beyond the house, easier to reach for the anchor. Evelyn swallowed hard. And I am the anchor, Daniel stepped to her side, placing his hand on the back of her chair. "You are not going back there alone. I do not care what she says." Marjorie's stirring paused. "If you enter with her, the door will have two again, and it will take both of you this time. The house will not miss its chance twice." The words struck Daniel like a blow. His jaw clenched, but he stayed silent. Evelyn stared at the flickering lantern on the table. The flame bent toward her slightly, as though drawn by something inside her. A faint hum pressed at the edge of her thoughts, and she felt the memory tugging again, weak but insistent. The forgotten door, the glow beneath it, Thomas's trembling hand in hers. She whispered, "How do we get to him?" Marjorie set down the wooden ladle. "You do not. You get to the door. You speak through it, but you must not cross its threshold. Doing so would make you its next offering." Evelyn's lips parted, "So I can hear him." "Hear? Yes. Reach. Maybe. Save. That depends on what remains of him." Daniel's breath hitched. "There has to be a way." The historian sighed and sat across from Evelyn. "There is one more thing you must understand before the bond strengthens further. The door feeds on memory. It will continue to return yours piece by piece, not as a kindness, but as a chain. The more you remember, the more bound you become. When you stand before the door, it will try to show you everything at once. It will try to break you." Evelyn closed her eyes. "I feel it already, like something is trying to open my mind from the inside." Marjorie nodded. "And tonight, the door will try harder than ever." Before Evelyn could ask why, the lantern flickered. Once, twice, then went out. Darkness swallowed the room. Daniel cursed under his breath. "Marjorie, did the power go out?" The historian did not respond. Evelyn's pulse spiked. "Marjorie, still nothing." Daniel clicked on his flashlight, its beam slicing through the dark in a trembling cone. The cottage looked unchanged, but Marjorie was gone. Evelyn stood quickly, her heart hammering. Where did she go? Daniel moved the flashlight across the room. The front door was shut. The back door was shut. The windows all sealed. "She did not pass us. She is here somewhere." A low, creaking noise rose from above them. Daniel aimed the beam upward. In the rafters, dozens of shadows shifted, shapes that had not been there minutes earlier. Evelyn stepped back. "What is that?" Daniel whispered. "That is not Marjorie." A whisper slid through the dark. Not Evelyn's whisper, not the house's. Something weaker, fading. "Help me." Evelyn froze. "Thomas." Daniel grabbed her arm. "No, it is trying to draw you in. Stay with me." But the voice trembled again. "Evelyn, please." The shadows above them twisted into elongated forms. They looked almost human, but wrong too thin, too stretched, their limbs tapering into points like fingers, sharpening into blades. The shadows descended. Marjorie burst through the kitchen door at that exact moment, slamming 2 handfuls of powder into the air. The lantern reignited instantly, glowing brighter than before. The shadows recoiled, shrieking silently as the powder clung to them like burning ash. Daniel pulled Evelyn behind him as the shadows dissipated into wisps of black smoke. Evelyn gasped. "Marjorie, what were those?" Her face was pale and strained. Echo walkers, fragments of people the door devoured. When you hear its voice, they hear you too. The historian stumbled, clutching her chest. Daniel caught her before she fell. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "No, but they drained some of my strength." Evelyn stared at the rafters, heart pounding. "They were people once." "Yes," Marjorie whispered. "People like Thomas." A cold numbness spread through Evelyn's limbs. She backed away until her spine hit the wall. "What am I supposed to do? How do I face the door knowing that could happen to me?" Marjorie steadied herself and approached Evelyn slowly. "Because if you do not face it, the bond will complete itself anyway. The door will come for you on its own terms. If you want to survive, you must go to it before it comes to you." Daniel looked torn, his fists clenched uselessly at his sides. "I hate this. I hate that she has to be the one." Evelyn lifted her chin. She did not feel brave, but she felt resolute. "I am the one it chose, but I can choose too. I will not be its anchor anymore." Marjorie nodded. "Then listen carefully. When you stand before the door, it will show you visions. It will twist your memories. It will try to convince you to open it. You must not believe anything it shows you." Evelyn inhaled shakily. "And Thomas." Marjorie held Evelyn's hands in hers. "If anything of him remains, you will know, not by what you see, but by what you feel." Daniel stepped closer, placing a hand on Evelyn's shoulder. "You do not face it alone. I will be right outside that basement." Marjorie raised a finger. "You may be near, but not with her. The door must see only one." Daniel swallowed. "Fine, but the moment something goes wrong." Evelyn touched his arm. "If something goes wrong, you will not be able to save me. Let me try, please." He hesitated, then nodded slowly, eyes heavy with fear and trust. The lantern flickered again. The walls creaked. The floorboards trembled. Evelyn looked toward the window just as a faint glow began to form in the distant fog. A rhythmic pulse, slow, familiar. The house was calling her. Marjorie whispered, "It has opened itself." Evelyn's breath caught in her throat. Daniel looked at Marjorie sharply. "What do you mean, opened itself?" The historian's face drained of color. "The forgotten door. It can open only if the anchor is near. Evelyn, it has sensed you, and it has awakened fully." A rumbling echoed across the hills. Evelyn felt the pull, stronger than ever. Daniel grabbed his jacket. "We go now." Marjorie nodded. "There is no more time. The longer the door stays open, the harder it will be to close." Evelyn stepped toward the door, her body trembling but her voice steady. "Then let us finish what started years ago." As they left the cottage, the whisper slithered through the wind. "Evelyn, I am waiting." For the first time, she did not flinch. She walked into the night. The night pressed in around them like a living thing, dense and cold and watchful. Evelyn stepped out of Marjorie's cottage and into the fog-soaked darkness. The earth beneath her boots felt different now, less solid, as though the ground itself recognized her return. A faint pulsing glow shimmered on the horizon, illuminating the distant silhouette of the Victorian house. The forgotten door inside it had opened. Daniel kept close to her, though he forced himself not to touch her. Marjorie's warning echoed between them. The door must see only one. Even standing a few feet apart felt like a betrayal of instinct. Daniel's jaw clenched every time Evelyn stumbled, his hands twitching at his sides, ready to grab her if she fell. But he could not. Not now. Marjorie followed behind them slowly, her pace limited by age, but her presence unwavering. She carried a satchel filled with powders, talismans, and brittle scrolls that rustled like dead leaves. Evelyn could feel the charge in the air whenever Marjorie stepped closer, as though the old historian carried some ancient electricity with her. The wind moaned through the trees. Evelyn shivered. It sounded almost like a voice. Daniel noticed. Stay focused. Do not listen to anything that sounds like him. But Evelyn heard it anyway, soft and trembling, riding along the breeze like a forgotten lullaby. Evelyn, she closed her eyes. Thomas, a sharp pinch of pain bloomed behind her forehead. A warning, a tearing pressure. She opened her eyes quickly, forcing the memory back down. Not all the memories returned willingly. Some clawed their way up, each one more painful than the last. When they reached the bend in the road, the house came fully into view. It stood taller than she remembered, its windows glowing faintly with the pulsing light. Evelyn pressed a hand to her chest as the bond deepened. The house felt alive, awake, anticipating her arrival. Daniel cursed under his breath. It is brighter than before, and that fog, it is thicker. Marjorie nodded grimly. The door pulls reality inward when it opens. It changes the air, the ground, the shadows. If she waits too long, the pull will become permanent. Evelyn swallowed hard. Permanent. Daniel stepped closer, voice low. We are not letting that happen. But his words felt fragile beneath the weight of the night. They moved slowly toward the broken path leading to the porch. Fog swirled around their ankles, curling like thin fingers. The wooden panels creaked in the wind, though none of them had stepped on them yet. Evelyn's heartbeat matched the rhythm of the pulsing glow. Thump, thump, thump. She remembered that sound. It echoed in her childhood dreams. Dreams she now realized were not dreams at all. Daniel's voice cut through her spiraling thoughts. Evelyn, look at me. She turned. His eyes held a fear she had never seen from him before. But there was also something else. Determination. An unspoken vow. You come back alive. Do you understand? Her throat tightened. She nodded. Marjorie lifted a hand. This is as far as we go. Beyond this point, the door will see only you. Evelyn stepped forward, but Marjorie stopped her with a gentle touch. The historian took a small pouch from her satchel and placed it in Evelyn's hand. If the visions overwhelm you, breathe this in. It may anchor your mind long enough to break free. Evelyn looked down at the pouch. The powder inside shimmered strangely, like crushed moonlight. Thank you, Marjorie's expression softened, for what it is worth. You are braver than the others I have known. Others, Evelyn whispered. Marjorie's silence was answer enough. Daniel stepped closer, too close. Evelyn touched his chest to stop him from crossing the invisible threshold. I will come back, she whispered. He breathed out slowly. You better. She turned toward the house. The porch lights flickered to life on their own, bathing the rotted wood in a sickly, yellow-tinted glow. Marjorie whispered behind her. "It knows she is here." Evelyn took a breath and stepped onto the porch. The boards groaned beneath her feet. The door in front of her stood open, its hinges warped, its frame stretching taller than before. The house exhaled as she entered. Cold slammed into her. The interior had changed. Where the hallway once stood, there was now a long, narrow corridor lined with pulsing light veins, like arteries running through the walls. The floor shifted under her boots, soft in some places and hard in others, as if the house were breathing through its foundation. Evelyn stepped deeper inside. The air thickened. The door closed behind her. Daniel slammed into the wood from the outside. "Evelyn, Evelyn, answer me." She heard his voice clearly, but the house distorted it, stretching it through the walls until it sounded like a distant echo inside her head. She touched the wall. It pulsed gently against her palm. A whisper threaded through her skin. "You came." Her breath shook. "Thomas." The whisper strengthened. "Come to the basement. To me." The floorboards beneath her shifted, forming a path downward. The house was guiding her. She walked, and the deeper she went, the heavier her body became. Each step felt like wading through water. Voices drifted in the air, faint, overlapping, too many to distinguish. They were the echo walkers, fragments of souls the door had taken. As she descended the narrow staircase to the basement, the air turned frigid. Frost formed on the wooden railing beneath her fingertips. She reached the bottom. The basement was no longer a room. It was a cavern. Walls stretched outward into impossible darkness. The pulsing glow throbbed from the center of the cavern, illuminating the forgotten door. But it was no longer closed. It stood half open, its white paint peeling away in long strips that floated toward the ceiling like weightless skin. A faint mist seeped from the gap, curling like smoke. Evelyn stepped closer. A figure stood inside the doorway, thin, pale, barely human. "Thomas!" Her breath caught in her throat. She took a shaky step toward him. "Thomas, Thomas, is it you?" His face lifted slowly, like someone remembering how movement worked. His eyes were hollow, but not empty. Something lived inside them. Something trapped. Something pleading. "Evelyn, you came back." She reached out a trembling hand. He reached too, but stopped, as though something held him back. "You promised." Her eyes filled with tears. "I was a child. I did not understand. But you do now." He stepped closer, the darkness behind him shifting like a living curtain. "Come with me. Close the promise." Her hand dropped to her side. "No." "I came to close the door, not to enter it." Thomas's expression twisted not into anger, but into desperation. "They will take me if you leave again." She flinched. "Thomas, I cannot." The whisper behind him, the one that was not Thomas, deepened into a roar. "Anchor!" The darkness surged. Evelyn stumbled backward. Thomas's voice broke into a cry. "Evelyn, please, do not let them." His scream cut off as the darkness yanked him backward. "No!" Evelyn lunged forward, but the door slammed shut in her face with a thunderous crack that shook the entire cavern. She froze, then a thin line of glowing light split down the center of the door. The door was opening again, but this time not for Thomas, for her. The cavern shuddered as the glowing fissure spread down the center of the door, widening with a slow, deliberate pulse. Each pulse sent a wave of cold air sweeping through the basement, wrapping around Evelyn's body like invisible tendrils. Her breath caught in her throat. The door was opening for her, only her. She stepped backward, her boots scraping against the trembling ground. Dust cascaded from the ceiling. The walls groaned. Something beyond the door pressed forward like a massive weight, straining against thin wood. The thin crack in the door split further, releasing a faint stream of pale mist. It curled around Evelyn's legs and rose toward her face like a curious hand. Then the whisper came. Not Thomas, not the house, something older. Evelyn. Her heartbeat faltered. The voice echoed in her skull with perfect clarity, vibrating through her bones like a tuning fork. Evelyn. She stumbled backward, nearly falling before catching herself. Her pulse hammered. Her breath hitched. She knew this voice, but she did not know how. The fissure burst open another inch. Pale light spilled across the cavern floor, illuminating shapes Evelyn had not noticed before. Shadows of people without faces, drifting like smoke above the ground. Echo walkers, dozens of them, their heads turned toward the door, their hollow forms trembling in anticipation. Evelyn felt her knees weaken. "No," she whispered. "No, no." But the voice surged again. "Evelyn, you came back to me." Thomas's scream replayed in her mind, echoing like a memory on fire. She saw his face as he was torn away, saw the darkness swallowing him, heard the door's hunger reverberating in the air. She pressed her palm against her chest, trying to catch her breath. She whispered, "Thomas, I will not let it take you." The cavern floor split slightly beneath her feet. A quiet rumble vibrated upward. Dust swirled around her, stirred by a cold wind that did not exist in the real world. Behind her, the basement staircase groaned as Daniel shouted her name, muffled by the shifting walls. "Evelyn, Evelyn, answer me." She turned toward the stairs and froze. The house had reshaped itself again. The staircase had stretched into a long, narrow hallway, twisting in impossible angles. Daniel's voice echoed faintly from the far end, distorted and distant. She reached out, but the hall stretched further, doubling in length. "Daniel," she called, her voice cracking. "I'm here." His voice faded. The door drowned him out. "Come, Evelyn." She spun back toward the forgotten door. It stood fully open now, not wide, just a sliver, just enough for her to see something move inside. A hand pressed against the crack, pale, elongated, trembling. Not Thomas, not human. The fingers dragged down the wood, leaving faint glowing streaks. The touch burned the door, but did not break it. Evelyn's throat tightened. Then something stepped forward. A tall figure, nothing more than an outline, shifting like a shadow, forgetting its shape. Its face was a blur, two hollow impressions where eyes should be, a faint indentation for a mouth. But when it spoke, its voice was unmistakable. "You promised." Evelyn stumbled back. "I was a child." "You promised." The glow brightened. "You promised you would come back. You promised you would open the door with me. You promised you would not leave me alone in the dark." Her pulse thundered painfully. "I was afraid." The figure stepped closer. The darkness behind it pulsed like a colossal heartbeat. So was I. The voice broke fractured, almost human for one fleeting moment, and then realization hit her. This was not Thomas. This was what had been waiting behind the door before Thomas ever touched it. A parasite of memory, feeding on promises, taking the shape of what she loved most. She felt her mind buckling against the revelation. "No," she whispered, "you are not him." The figure paused, its head tilted slowly, as though studying her defiance. Then the darkness whispered through its borrowed voice, "I can be." The cavern trembled violently. The echo walkers scattered, drifting upward into the shadows like dust caught in a violent wind. Evelyn screamed as the floor beneath her split wider, threatening to swallow her. But before she could fall, she felt someone grab her arm. Evelyn. Daniel, against all rules, against all warnings, he had forced his way inside. He gripped her tightly, pulling her away from the cracking ground. She gasped, collapsing against him. "Daniel, you cannot be here. It sees you." Daniel's grip tightened. "I don't care. I'm not letting you face this alone." The cavern roared, a deep, furious sound as the darkness surged forward. The forgotten door cracked wider. A gust of freezing air slammed into them, throwing Daniel backward onto the ground. Evelyn fell beside him. The pale figure stepped toward them, its shadow stretching across the cavern floor like a gaping maw. Daniel scrambled to his feet, pulling Evelyn with him. "Run!" But Evelyn didn't move. She stared at the figure, trembling but resolute. "Show me," she whispered. Daniel's eyes widened. "Evelyn, no!" She stepped toward the door. "Show me the truth." The figure paused. The mist around her feet rose and swirled, curling up her legs and arms. The cavern darkened, walls stretching outward into an endless void. The pulsing glow intensified, matching the rhythm of her heartbeat. Memory slammed into her. She was a child again, standing at the door, holding Thomas's hand, hearing the hum of something ancient waiting behind the cracks. Thomas whispered, "I'm not afraid if you're here." She whispered back, "I promise, I'll stay." She squeezed his hand, but when the door opened, she let go. Not because she wanted to, because something impossible tore them apart. She collapsed to her knees as the memory ripped through her. The figure towered over her now. "You left him to me." Daniel hurled himself in front of Evelyn. "Get away from her." The darkness surged forward. Daniel was thrown backward, sliding across the cavern floor. Gasping as he hit the wall, Evelyn screamed his name. But the sound was swallowed by the storm of whispers rising in the cavern. Evelyn faced the door, tears streaming. "I am not a child anymore," she whispered, "and I am not your anchor." The figure leaned close. "Then deny me." The cavern fell silent. Evelyn closed her eyes, and for the first time, she let the memory come without fear. "I release the promise," she said, voice trembling but clear. "I break the tether. I refuse the door." The walls shrieked. The figure recoiled, its form cracking like shattered glass. The door's glow flickered violently, sputtering like a dying flame. "No!" The door slammed open as a scream tore through the cavern. "Not yours to break." A force slammed into Evelyn, knocking her backward onto the stone as the cavern convulsed around her. Daniel crawled toward her. "Evelyn!" Her vision blurred. The darkness surged from the door in a massive wave, and everything went white. The cavern shuddered. as the glowing fissure spread down the center of the door, widening with a slow, deliberate pulse. Each pulse sent a wave of cold air sweeping through the basement, wrapping around Evelyn's body like invisible tendrils. Her breath caught in her throat. The door was opening for her, only her. She stepped backward, her boots scraping against the trembling ground. Dust cascaded from the ceiling. The walls groaned. Something beyond the door pressed forward like a massive weight, straining against thin wood. The thin crack in the door split further, releasing a faint stream of pale mist. It curled around Evelyn's legs and rose toward her face like a curious hand. Then the whisper came. Not Thomas, not the house, something older. Evelyn. Her heartbeat faltered. The voice echoed in her skull with perfect clarity, vibrating through her bones like a tuning fork. Evelyn. She stumbled backward, nearly falling before catching herself. Her pulse hammered. Her breath hitched. She knew this voice, but she did not know how. The fissure burst open another inch. Pale light spilled across the cavern floor, illuminating shapes Evelyn had not noticed before. Shadows of people without faces, drifting like smoke above the ground. Echo walkers, dozens of them, their heads turned toward the door, their hollow forms trembling in anticipation. Evelyn felt her knees weaken. "No," she whispered. "No, no." But the voice surged again. "Evelyn, you came back to me." Thomas's scream replayed in her mind, echoing like a memory on fire. She saw his face as he was torn away, saw the darkness swallowing him, heard the door's hunger reverberating in the air. She pressed her palm against her chest, trying to catch her breath. She whispered, "Thomas, I will not let it take you." The cavern floor split slightly beneath her feet. A quiet rumble vibrated upward. Dust swirled around her, stirred by a cold wind that did not exist in the real world. Behind her, the basement staircase groaned as Daniel shouted her name, muffled by the shifting walls. "Evelyn, Evelyn, answer me." She turned toward the stairs and froze. The house had reshaped itself again. The staircase had stretched into a long, narrow hallway, twisting in impossible angles. Daniel's voice echoed faintly from the far end, distorted and distant. She reached out, but the hall stretched further, doubling in length. "Daniel," she called, her voice cracking. "I'm here." His voice faded. The door drowned him out. "Come, Evelyn." She spun back toward the forgotten door. It stood fully open now, not wide, just a sliver, just enough for her to see something move inside. A hand pressed against the crack pane, elongated, trembling. Not Thomas, not human. The fingers dragged down the wood, leaving faint glowing streaks. The touch burned the door, but did not break it. Evelyn's throat tightened. Then something stepped forward. A tall figure, nothing more than an outline, shifting like a shadow, forgetting its shape. Its face was a blur, two hollow impressions where eyes should be, a faint indentation for a mouth. But when it spoke, its voice was unmistakable. "You promised." Evelyn stumbled back. "I was a child. You promised." The glow brightened. "You promised you would come back. You promised you would open the door with me. You promised you would not leave me alone in the dark. Her pulse thundered painfully. I was afraid. The figure stepped closer. The darkness behind it pulsed like a colossal heartbeat. So was I. The voice broke, fractured, almost human for one fleeting moment, and then realization hit her. This was not Thomas. This was what had been waiting behind the door before Thomas ever touched it. A parasite of memory, feeding on promises, taking the shape of what she loved most. She felt her mind buckling against the revelation. "No," she whispered. "You are not him." The figure paused, its head tilted slowly, as though studying her defiance. Then the darkness whispered through its borrowed voice, "I can be." The cavern trembled violently. The echo walkers scattered, drifting upward into the shadows like dust caught in a violent wind. Evelyn screamed as the floor beneath her split wider, threatening to swallow her. But before she could fall, she felt someone grab her arm. "Evelyn." Daniel, against all rules, against all warnings, he had forced his way inside. He gripped her tightly, pulling her away from the cracking ground. She gasped, collapsing against him. "Daniel, you cannot be here. It sees you." Daniel's grip tightened. "I don't care. I'm not letting you face this alone." The cavern roared a deep, furious sound as the darkness surged forward. The forgotten door cracked wider. A gust of freezing air slammed into them, throwing Daniel backward onto the ground. Evelyn fell beside him. The pale figure stepped toward them, its shadow stretching across the cavern floor like a gaping maw. Daniel scrambled to his feet, pulling Evelyn with him. "Run!" But Evelyn didn't move. She stared at the figure, trembling but resolute. "Show me," she whispered. Daniel's eyes widened. "Evelyn." "No." She stepped toward the door. "Show me the truth." The figure paused. The mist around her feet rose and swirled, curling up her legs and arms. The cavern darkened, walls stretching outward into an endless void. The pulsing glow intensified, matching the rhythm of her heartbeat. Memory slammed into her. She was a child again, standing at the door, holding Thomas's hand, hearing the hum of something ancient waiting behind the cracks. Thomas whispered, "I'm not afraid if you're here." She whispered back, "I promise, I'll stay." She squeezed his hand, but when the door opened, she let go, not because she wanted to, because something impossible tore them apart. She collapsed to her knees as the memory ripped through her. The figure towered over her now. "You left him to me." Daniel hurled himself in front of Evelyn. "Get away from her." The darkness surged forward. Daniel was thrown backward, sliding across the cavern floor, gasping as he hit the wall. Evelyn screamed his name, but the sound was swallowed by the storm of whispers rising in the cavern. Evelyn faced the door, tears streaming. "I am not a child anymore," she whispered, "and I am not your anchor." The figure leaned close. "Then deny me." The cavern fell silent. Evelyn closed her eyes, and for the first time, she let the memory come without fear. "I release the promise," she said, voice trembling but clear. "I break the tether. I refuse the door." The walls shrieked. The figure recoiled, its form cracking like shattered glass. The door's glow flickered violently, sputtering like a dying flame. No! The door slammed open as a scream tore through the cavern. Not yours to break. A force slammed into Evelyn, knocking her backward onto the stone as the cavern convulsed around her. Daniel crawled toward her. Evelyn, her vision blurred. The darkness surged from the door in a massive wave, and everything went white. The collapse felt endless. Evelyn fell through blinding white, her body weightless, her mind carved open by echoes of the ancient voice. The world around her twisted into streaks of light, fracturing and collapsing like glass under pressure. Then, silence. The light dimmed. Her feet hit solid ground. Evelyn gasped as darkness rushed back in, shaping itself into a familiar space. Not the cavern, not the void, something between memory and nightmare. She stood inside the Victorian house, but not as it was. The walls stretched upward infinitely, bending inward as though pulled by invisible strings. The hallway swayed like a breathing lung. Doors multiplied along the corridor, vanishing and reappearing in impossible rhythms. The wallpaper pulsed faintly, veins running beneath it. Evelyn pressed a trembling hand to her chest. This isn't real. The ancient voice slid around her. Real and unreal are the same here. Only memory matters. Only promise matters. She spun around. The hallway behind her twisted into a long spiral, curving into shadow. The floor rippled under her feet. She took a step forward, but the boards shifted like liquid, reforming into a narrow path. At the far end of the hall, a figure appeared. Thomas! His body flickered between child and adult, shifting like a malfunctioning reflection. One moment he stood small and frightened, clutching a stuffed bear. The next he towered before her, pale and hollow-eyed. Evelyn swallowed hard. Thomas, please, I need to talk to you. His voice echoed through the hall, layered and broken. You left me. Her heart clenched. I didn't want to. I was pulled away. You saved me. His face. Flicker. Child. Adult. Child again. You promised. She took a slow step toward him, and I'm here now. The floor reacted instantly. Sharp spikes of wood shot up between them, forming a jagged barrier. Evelyn stumbled back as splinters rained around her. The ancient voice laughed softly. He does not want you. He wants what you give me. The spikes twisted into long limbs, reaching toward her. Evelyn dodged left, narrowly avoiding a clawed hand. Enough, she shouted into the darkness. Show yourself. The house groaned. The walls bent outward. Something massive moved behind them, something that had no shape. Only hunger. You know what I am. She shook her head. A parasite. A monster. A thing that feeds on fear. A low rumble answered. I feed on faith, on promises, on the moments humans break. Thomas appeared beside her now, clearly the boy she had known. Tears streaked his pale face. You said you would stay. Evelyn's voice cracked. I wanted to. I was terrified. I was a child. Fear is faith. The ancient voice hissed. Faith in darkness. Faith in me. Evelyn stepped closer to Thomas, ignoring the shaking floor. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry I couldn't hold on. Thomas looked up at her with hollow eyes. Then why didn't you come back? Evelyn's breath trembled. Because I forgot. It erased everything. It stole the memory to weaken the anchor. Thomas's face flickered. Anchor. A tremor rippled through the hallway. The walls cracked open like dry skin. A giant eye, faceless, pupilless. A swirling mass of light opened within the tear and stared directly at Evelyn. Anchor. The entire house shook. Thomas screamed, collapsing as his form shuddered and stretched. Black tendrils wrapped around him, yanking him backward into the crack in the wall. No! Evelyn lunged forward. The tendrils tightened around Thomas, pulling him toward the glowing wound in reality. Evelyn grabbed his wrist. For a moment, just a moment, he felt real again. Warm, human. Thomas's eyes widened. Evelyn, it hurts. She gripped him as hard as she could. I know. Hold on, hold on. But the ancient voice thundered, he is mine. Thomas was ripped from her grasp. Evelyn fell backward, hitting the shifting floor as Thomas disappeared into the wound. The tear sealed itself instantly, leaving only darkness. Her scream tore through the hallway. Thomas! The echo bounced off the walls, growing louder, sharper, more jagged. Then the silence returned. Evelyn knelt on the trembling floor, fingers curled into fists. Tears fell unnoticed. He needed me, she whispered, and I failed again. No, the voice returned, but quieter now. You did not fail. You simply do not understand. Understand what? She screamed. Faith, hope, sacrifice. The walls began to melt, dripping like wax. The floor dissolved into swirling mist. Evelyn stood, surrounded by a shifting landscape. The house melted away. A shape emerged in front of her, a towering figure, taller than the doorway, taller than the walls. It had no face, no form, only the suggestion of limbs made from swirling fog and light. Its voice came from everywhere. I did not take Thomas. Thomas took me. Evelyn froze. He chose you, not by desire, by design, by his faith in you. The mist thickened. The figure leaned close. He believed in your promise. Faith makes the door open, and he believed more than you did. A cold realization stabbed through her. He was the anchor. The void pulsed. Yes, he was meant to hold the door open, but when you left, he held it alone. Evelyn's breathing fractured. Stop! Your memory was removed. His was not. He remembers every second of the dark. Her knees trembled. She whispered, then let him out. Let him out. The figure's voice shifted, mocking, curious, amused. You broke the tether. You are no longer mine. He is the only anchor left. Evelyn staggered backward. You're lying. Am I? Look! The void parted. A distant shape appeared. Thomas, kneeling in darkness, hands clasped to his ears as whispers tore through him. He was alive, alive but trapped, suffering. Evelyn reached out instinctively, tears burning down her face. Thomas, he didn't look up. He didn't hear her. He was drowning in a sea of whispers. The ancient voice wrapped around her. Free him. Take his place. Evelyn's breath stopped. Her heart thudded violently. That's your game, she whispered. You want me to choose to be the anchor. Choice gives power. Power opens doors. Doors open worlds. Evelyn wiped her tears. No, the void trembled. No. No, she repeated, louder. I won't be your anchor. I won't replace him. I won't feed you. Then watch him suffer. The image of Thomas trembled as new whispers flooded him, tearing at the edges of his mind. Evelyn shook her head. I'm not choosing your terms. You have no terms left. I have one. She stepped forward toward Thomas, toward the darkness, toward the whispers, but not to replace him, to break them. The ancient voice screamed as the void split beneath her feet. Evelyn, no, you do not know what you are. She dove into the darkness, and everything exploded into black. Evelyn expected death, or silence, or the nothingness of a mind destroyed. Instead, she fell through a world of spiraling shadows that twisted around her like torn fabric caught in a storm. The darkness was not empty. It pulsed. It watched. It remembered. Wind roared around her, though there was no air. Pressure crushed her, though there was no weight. And beneath all of it, she heard the ancient voice whispering like a heartbeat inside a tomb. You cannot break what you do not understand. Evelyn forced her eyes open. The darkness peeled away, revealing a landscape unlike anything she had ever seen. It was not the cavern, not the void. It was deeper, a world made entirely of memories. Broken moments drifted through the air like floating shards of glass. Shapes flickered in and out of existence. A young girl laughing, a door glowing, a shadow leaning over a crib, a hand reaching through a wall. Every shard carried a memory of someone the door had taken. Evelyn stepped onto solid ground, or something that pretended to be ground. It felt like stone, but looked like fog. It shifted under her feet, yet held her weight. Ahead of her stretched a vast plain of floating staircases, twisting corridors, and fragments of homes swallowed long ago. Walls hovered without ceilings, doors opened to nothing, stairs climbed into darkness. Everything bent and folded into itself like a maze built by madness. Evelyn whispered, "This is where it keeps them." A whisper answered, "Where it keeps us." She turned. Thomas stood only a few feet away. His form was clearer now, more human, but still wrong. His skin was pale, his eyes glowed faintly, his shadow stretched too far behind him, reaching like claws. Evelyn moved toward him, but he shook his head. "Do not touch me. It will see your strength. It will take you faster." Evelyn clenched her fists. "You are not lost. I can still reach you." Thomas looked up at her. His eyes flickered with something familiar. Pain, hope, fear. "I do not want you here. I came for you. That is why it will take you." Before she could respond, the ground beneath them trembled. Corridors shifted. Doors slammed open. A gust of freezing wind tore across the plain. The ancient voice boomed from everywhere. "You do not belong here." Evelyn staggered, but Thomas caught her arm. "Run!" They sprinted across the shifting plain. Walls bent inward, forming a crushing tunnel. Shadows lunged from the edges, reaching for Evelyn with thin, grasping fingers. Faces pressed through the floor beneath her feet. Whispering her name, Thomas dragged her through a collapsing archway. The structure crumbled behind them like sand. "Where are we going?" Evelyn gasped. "To the heart." She stumbled. "The heart, the place where it binds us all. If you want to break it, that is where the tether is strongest. They reached a staircase spiraling downward into a pit of swirling light. The steps stretched and shrank as they ran. Some dissolved beneath their feet. Others grew sharper like blades. Evelyn's legs burned. Fear clawed at her throat, but Thomas never let go of her wrist. When they reached the bottom, the darkness folded back to reveal a massive chamber. The heart, a giant sphere of twisting white and black light, hovered at the center. It pulsed like a beating organ. Tendrils of energy stretched from it into the walls, connecting to thousands of floating silhouettes. Echo walkers. Their mouths moved in silent screams. Their hands reached outward, joined by threads of shimmering memory. Evelyn gasped. This is all of them. Everyone it ever took. Thomas nodded slowly. And it will take more until the door opens fully. A low rumble shook the chamber. The ancient voice descended on them like thunder. You defy me again, child. Evelyn lifted her chin. I am not a child. No, you are mine. The heart brightened. A tendril of light shot toward Evelyn. She dodged it barely, diving behind a floating pillar of shadow. Evelyn shouted, Thomas, how do we break it? Thomas stared at the heart, pain twisting his face. It wants your promise. If you give it willingly, the heart will open. But if you refuse it at the source, you can collapse it. Evelyn hesitated. Collapse it? What happens to you? Thomas swallowed hard. I do not know, but if you open it, we will both be lost. The tendrils shot forward again, smashing into the pillar. Evelyn jumped aside as the structure cracked and dissolved. She sprinted across the chamber, tendrils slicing inches from her face. The ancient voice roared, Every promise has a price. Evelyn yelled back, Then take mine. The chamber froze. Even the echo walkers stilled. Thomas's eyes widened. Evelyn, no. She stepped forward. You want my promise? Fine, here it is. The heart pulsed violently. A tendril wrapped around her arm like a burning chain. Pain shot through her entire body. Memories flooded her mind. Her childhood, the door, Thomas screaming, her mother pulling her away. Years of forgetting, years of guilt. The ancient voice whispered, Promise yourself to me. Evelyn smiled. No. The heart flickered. The tendril convulsed. Thomas stared, confused. Evelyn, what are you doing? She shouted with every ounce of strength. I promise that I will never open you. I promise I will never feed you. I promise I am not your anchor. And I never was. The world exploded. The heart cracked down the center like an egg. Light poured out in violent waves. Echo walkers screamed, their silhouettes tearing loose from the tendrils. The chamber convulsed. Corridors shattered. Doors collapsed. The ancient voice shrieked, No! A promise of denial is still a promise. Evelyn forced herself to stand against the violent wind. Then take it. Take my promise and choke on it. The heart split completely. A massive burst of energy hurled Evelyn backward. Thomas caught her before she hit the ground. But the blast ripped him away. He flew into the darkness, screaming her name, Evelyn. She reached for him, but the world turned inside out. Light consumed everything. Her body tore through shadow and memory, and she she opened her eyes on the basement floor. Gasping, cold, alone. The door was closed. Everything was silent, except for a soft voice behind her. "Evelyn, you did not let me go." She turned slowly. Thomas stood before her, human, whole, alive. But the room behind him was trembling, cracking, reality buckling. Evelyn whispered, "What did I do?" Thomas took her hand. "You broke the door." The house roared like a dying creature, and the walls began to fall. The house did not collapse quietly. It screamed. The floor beneath Evelyn shook so violently. She sprawled onto her hands, breath ripped from her chest. The walls buckled inward, as though something huge pressed against them from every direction. The ceiling groaned in long, agonized wails, dust raining from every crack. It sounded like a creature in its death throes, one that refused to die. Thomas pulled her up. His hand was warm, human, real. For the first time since childhood, Evelyn felt the weight of him solid, fragile, alive. But his eyes were wide with terror as he looked around the basement. "It is waking up." Evelyn froze. The house, the entity behind the door, the broken tether. She had destroyed its heart, severed the promise, shattered the anchor. The forgotten door was no longer a doorway, but a wound in the world, and the creature trapped behind it was clawing for any way to survive. The walls rippled like water struck by a stone. Then they split. Black cracks tore across the wooden boards, glowing faintly with pale, shifting light. The remnants of the door's energy, now unstable, now feral. The house shuddered again, violently enough to knock Thomas off balance. He grabbed Evelyn's shoulder, steadying himself. "We have to move," Evelyn said. Thomas nodded, pulling her toward the stairs. The ground behind them splintered open like splitting bone. A column of dark mist surged upward, then crashed into the ceiling with a deafening roar. Evelyn screamed as the staircase twisted sideways, bending like a spine broken in half. Thomas pulled her away just in time as the steps collapsed into a swirling pit of shadow. "The entity is trying to stop us," Thomas gasped. "It knows it is dying," Evelyn replied. "It will try to take us with it." Another scream tore through the house. No longer a whisper or a voice, but something raw, unbound, and furious. The walls bulged, stretching outward like thin skin, barely containing a monstrous shape. Thomas pointed toward a narrow hallway forming to their right. The house was reshaping itself again, creating shifting paths, closing others. It was no longer a home. It was a labyrinth trying to trap them. "This way," he shouted. They ran. The ground rippled beneath their feet, slanting upward, tilting sideways, flattening again. Evelyn struggled to stay upright. Thomas caught her when she stumbled, dragging her around a bending corridor where the floor looked like stretched flesh. A door appeared ahead, a familiar one. The living room. Evelyn burst through it, nearly collapsing onto the warped floor. Thomas slammed the door behind them. The room was unrecognizable. The furniture was fused into the walls like bones locked in muscle. The windows were gone, replaced by swirling darkness. The ceiling bowed downward, dripping small beads of black liquid. "The entity is bleeding," Evelyn whispered. Thomas turned sharply. "Do not look too long. It will pull you back." Another tremor ripped through the house. sending both of them crashing to their knees. The walls around them twisted violently, forming the outline of a massive face, hollow eyes, a gaping mouth stretching from floor to ceiling. Evelyn and Thomas scrambled backward as the face surged forward, screaming in a soundless roar. Dark wind blasted through the room. The walls cracked, splitting into jagged fragments before reforming. "It is coming through," Evelyn cried. Thomas pulled her to her feet. "Then we go through it." Evelyn stared at him. "Through what?" The house answered. A staircase erupted from the floor, shooting upward like a spine of jagged bone. It twisted violently, stopping just short of the ceiling. At the top, a faint glow flickered. A weak opening, a chance. The front door, their way out. Evelyn grabbed Thomas's hand. "Let's go." They charged upward. The stairs swayed beneath them as if they were climbing a serpent's back. Planks snapped behind their heels. Tendrils of black mist whipped at their ankles, curling like desperate hands trying to pull them down. Halfway up, the entire staircase buckled downward as the house roared again. Evelyn screamed. Thomas grabbed her waist, anchoring her just as the stairs snapped in half. The lower section crashed into the darkness below. "Hold on," Thomas shouted. They clung to the splintering upper section, bodies pressed against the railing, which bent like soft metal under their weight. With an enormous effort, Thomas hauled them up, step by step, until they reached the top. The front door was within reach, half-formed, flickering like a dying flame. Evelyn reached for the knob. The house struck. The wall beside them split open. A massive limb shadow made flesh lunged outward, slamming into the floor where Evelyn had been standing a second earlier. Thomas yanked her aside. "Evelyn, roll." She hit the ground, pain searing up her arm. But she scrambled away just as the limb slammed down again, leaving a crater in the floorboards. Thomas grabbed a broken board from the ground, his only weapon, and swung it at the shadow limb. It passed through the mist, but disrupted it enough for the creature to recoil. Another crack tore through the house. The ceiling shook violently. The ground sloped downward again. Evelyn and Thomas slid toward the opening in the floor. Evelyn clawed at the ground. Thomas grabbed her wrist, holding her with everything he had. "Do not let go." She looked straight into his eyes. "I will not." The house roared, a deafening cry of hatred and agony. The walls burst inward. Black mist poured into the room. Tendrils shot toward them. Evelyn lifted her free hand and screamed into the collapsing house. "You do not own me." A shockwave rippled outward. The tendrils recoiled. The house froze. Just 1 second, but it was enough. Thomas hauled her upward. Evelyn lunged for the door. Her fingers closed around the knob. Light burst through the cracks. The entity shrieked, 1,000 voices crying out all at once. Evelyn turned the knob. The door blew open in an explosion of cold wind and white light. She and Thomas were hurled outward into the night. They hit the ground hard. The cold air burned their lungs. The world around them spun, but they were outside, alive. The house trembled violently behind them. The front porch split in half. Windows shattered outward. The roof caved inward as the structure collapsed upon itself. Evelyn crawled backward, dragging Thomas with her. The ground shook beneath them as though the earth itself rejected what the house had become. The walls imploded. Light shot upward from the foundation, a column of white pierced with black veins. A soundless scream ripped across the night. Then, silence. The house fell inward, collapsing into a heap of rotting wood and shadow. The light faded. The wind died. Evelyn lay on the grass, chest rising and falling in shallow breaths. Thomas lay beside her, staring at the sky as though afraid it might break too. He whispered, "Evelyn, you did it." She turned to him, tears filling her eyes. "No, we did." Thomas smiled weakly, but the smile faded as the ground beneath the wreckage shifted. Evelyn sat up sharply. The air grew cold again. Something still moved inside the collapsed house, a shape rising slowly, clawing its way upward. The entity was not done. Evelyn's breath froze. This was not over. Evelyn could not breathe. Cold air cut through her lungs as she stared at the rubble that had once been the Ashford house. Smoke like mist curled upward through the crushed wood and shattered beams. The wind died, leaving only an unnatural stillness, as if the world were holding its breath. Thomas pushed himself onto his elbows. "Are you hurt?" Evelyn shook her head, though her limbs trembled violently. "No, but something is still inside." Thomas's eyes followed hers back to the heap of ruins. The rubble shifted. A long, low groan rose from deep underground, a sound too slow to be human, too hungry to be alive. The earth itself pulsed beneath them like a heartbeat. Evelyn backed away. Thomas did too. The collapsed foundation cracked open. At first, only black mist seeped through the gaps. But then, something moved beneath it. Something huge. A shape rising from under the wreckage, dragging itself toward the surface. Wood splintered. Metal groaned. The earth heaved upward as though vomiting out the creature buried below. Evelyn covered her mouth. Thomas whispered. It followed us out. A towering form emerged. It had no true shape, just a mass of shifting shadow and bone-like ridges. Its limbs too long, too jointed, bending in directions no creature should. Its torso pulsed like a living wound, and its surface was made of overlapping faces, memories pressing outward, then dissolving into mist. At the center of its body, a vertical slit glowed faintly. A door, or what remained of one. The forgotten door had become flesh. Evelyn felt her stomach lurch. Thomas stumbled backward until his back hit a crumbling brick wall. The creature's head, or what resembled a head, turned toward them. A hollow hole opened where a mouth should be. From inside it came a voice, not a whisper, not ancient, not monstrous, her own. Evelyn. She felt her blood turn to ice. Thomas grabbed her arm. Do not listen. Do not let it speak with your voice. The creature took a step toward them. The ground dented beneath its weight. Shadows bled across the grass where its limbs touched. The air around it thickened, warping like heat over asphalt. Evelyn forced herself to look at it. Why does it look like that? Thomas swallowed. Because you broke the door. It has no anchor now, no shape to hide behind. It is becoming itself. Another step. Closer, Evelyn shouted. Stop! The creature froze. Then dozens of voices burst from its body. not from mouths, but from the shifting memories trapped inside it. Some cried, some whispered, some screamed. Thomas covered his ears. Evelyn, those are the echo walkers. The entity trembled violently, its body peeling apart in places as memories pushed outward like hands reaching through fabric. A woman's silhouette emerged from its chest, weeping silently before dissolving back into the mass. Evelyn gasped. They are trapped inside it. Yes, Thomas said, voice cracking. It took them all, and now it cannot hold them. You broke its feeding. You starved it. The creature's whole mouth widened into a gaping void. Its voice returned, but this time it used Thomas's voice. Evelyn, please. Evelyn flinched. Thomas clenched his fists. That is not me. The creature surged forward. Thomas shoved Evelyn aside, just as a massive limb slammed into the ground where she had been standing. Dirt exploded upward. Evelyn rolled and scrambled to her feet. Run! Thomas shouted. They sprinted across the dying yard. The creature roared a sound that shook dust from nearby trees. It crawled after them on too many limbs, dragging its enormous body across the ground. Shadows whipped around it like chains. Evelyn glanced back. Its form was changing. Faces she recognized from old missing persons posters flickered across its shifting surface. A little girl crying, a man screaming, an old woman whispering prayers. All distorted, all trapped. Thomas pointed toward a broken section of the fence. This way. They ran through it, stumbling into the empty field behind the house. Grass flattened beneath their feet. The moon emerged from behind heavy clouds, illuminating the creature as it crawled after them, its body leaving black scorch marks on the ground. Evelyn yelled over the wind. How do we stop it? Thomas shook his head. I do not know if we can. Not here. Not like this. The creature screeched again, this time with the voice of Evelyn's mother. Come home, Evelyn. She stumbled mid-stride. Her legs faltered. Thomas grabbed her. It is digging through your memories. Fight it. But as the creature gained ground, its surface shifted again this time, revealing Thomas's childhood face. The boy looked at her with hollow, empty eyes. Evelyn, why did you leave me? She froze completely. Thomas screamed. Evelyn, no. The creature lunged. Its limbs slammed into the earth inches from her feet, throwing her backward. Dirt rained down. She hit the ground hard, pain exploding across her shoulder. The creature towered over her now, its body swelling, splitting open at the center. The glowing slit, the remnant of the door widened. A hand reached through the opening, small, child-sized. Evelyn's breath shattered. Her voice cracked. Thomas. But the child was not Thomas. It was her, a younger Evelyn, maybe 8 years old, emerging from the door with hollow eyes, hand reaching toward the adult she had become. Thomas ran toward her. Evelyn, get back. The entity's shadow stretched out, forming a cage around her. Evelyn struggled to stand, but her legs buckled beneath her. The child Evelyn whispered, "You promised you would stay." Evelyn covered her ears. "No, I did not promise you. I promised him." The creature shrieked as if wounded. The cage tightened. Shadows wrapped around her waist, pulling her toward the door slit inside the entity. Wind and darkness flooded around her like a vortex. Thomas grabbed her wrist again, just like years ago. Evelyn, hold. The vortex yanked harder. Thomas's feet dragged across the ground. His muscles strained, his face twisted with effort. He screamed, "I am not letting you go again." His grip tightened, but the creature roared a monstrous, ear-splitting cry that shook the entire field. The pull intensified. Thomas lost his footing. Evelyn felt herself sliding forward into the darkness. No, not again. Not this time. She twisted around mid-pull and slammed her free hand against the ground, gripping the grass to anchor herself. Her nails tore through the soil. The vortex howled, trying to swallow her whole. Thomas yelled, "Evelyn, do not let it take you." Evelyn screamed through clenched teeth. "I won't." The shadows snapped taut. The creature reeled back, confused by her resistance. The younger Evelyn flickered, glitching like a broken projection. Evelyn locked eyes with it and whispered, "I forgive myself." The child froze. So did the creature, and in that moment of stillness, Thomas pulled her free. They tumbled across the field as the shadow cage collapsed. The creature staggered backward, limbs flailing wildly. Evelyn gasped for air. Thomas leaned over her, breathless. "You broke its hold, Evelyn. You broke it." But before she could answer, the creature straightened, the surface of its body smoothed. The door slit began to glow again. Thomas's eyes widened in horror. "It is changing." Evelyn pushed herself to her knees. The entity was evolving, becoming something new, something worse, and the glow spreading across the door slit showed one horrifying truth. It was opening again, but this time from the outside. The glow from the creature's chest spread outward, like veins of molten light, pulsing with a rhythm too large and too ancient to belong to anything mortal. Evelyn stared, frozen, as the vertical slit along its torso widened slowly, deliberately, like an eye opening for the first time. Thomas's voice shook. "Evelyn, it is opening itself." The wind shifted around them, bending toward the creature as though sucked into the widening rift. Grass ripped out of the soil, loose dirt spiraled upward. The world hummed with a low, vibrating sound that burrowed beneath their skin. Evelyn grabbed Thomas's sleeve. "We have to move." But the field around them seemed to shrink as the creature took a massive step forward, each limb pounding the ground with thunderous force. Its body was no longer collapsing, it was stabilizing, solidifying into a monstrous form it had never before possessed. Thomas whispered, horrified, "Evelyn, it is becoming real." A wave of pressure burst outward, throwing both of them backward. Evelyn rolled across the ground, dirt filling her lungs as she gasped for breath. The creature's voices rose layers upon layers of human screams and broken whispers, merging into one impossible chorus. "Evelyn, Thomas, stay. Do not run. Come home." Evelyn clamped her hands over her ears, but the voices seeped through her skull like needles. Thomas crawled toward her through the shaking earth. "Evelyn, do not listen. It is using what is left of the door to reach you." Evelyn forced herself up. The creature towered above them, glowing slit pulsing brighter with every second. A faint outline appeared inside the opening, shifting like fog at first, then sharpening into a shape. A person, a silhouette standing within the door. Evelyn froze. Thomas grabbed her arm hard. "Do not look," but the figure stepped forward, emerging inch by inch into the world, a tall, thin man with hollow eyes and a mouth carved into a trembling smile. Evelyn's blood ran cold. It was her father, but her father had died when she was 8. He raised a hand toward her, fingers shaking. "Evelyn, come home." Evelyn stumbled back violently. Thomas stepped in front of her, voice low and fierce. "It is not him. It is showing you the memory it took." The creature trembled, and the father shape flickered, glitching like a broken hologram. The door opened wider. 2 more silhouettes pressed against the glowing slit. A girl, a man, a woman, all familiar, all dead. Evelyn screamed, "Stop!" Her voice cracked through the air, and for a moment, the silhouettes froze. But the door pulsed again, stronger than before. Thomas grabbed her shoulders. "Listen to me. If it opens completely, everything it ever consumed will spill out. Not people, not memories, the thing behind them, the thing it protects." Evelyn shook her head. "I broke the door. I broke its heart. It should be dying." Thomas looked at her with devastation. This is what dying looks like for something that was never meant to exist." The creature roared, and the silhouettes vanished into a burst of white light. The slit widened further, now large enough for something massive to force its way through. Evelyn whispered, "What is coming out?" Thomas trembled. The thing the door was built to cage. The ground erupted as another shockwave hit. Evelyn and Thomas were lifted off their feet, thrown across the field. Evelyn's back slammed against a fallen log. Her vision blurred. She tasted blood. Through the haze, she saw the creature bend forward, pressing its chest to the earth. The door slit widened into a vertical maw of blinding white. A long, skeletal hand reached out from inside fingers, stretching, scraping against the air as though feeling the world for the first time. Evelyn's heart nearly stopped. Another hand gripped the edge of the slit, then another, and another. Thomas whispered in horror, "It has more than 2. Evelyn forced herself up, limbs shaking. Thomas staggered beside her. The skeletal hands pressed harder, prying the slit open wider. Something huge was forcing itself through. A face emerged featureless, smooth, made of shifting smoke and bone. No eyes, no mouth, just an endless surface that reflected nothing. The world dimmed. Clouds swirled above them. The moon turned blood red. Thomas grabbed Evelyn's wrist. "We have to stop it. Now." Evelyn could barely speak. "How?" Thomas looked straight into her eyes. "You broke the tether, but not the memory. As long as it remembers you, it will keep coming." Evelyn swallowed. "So what do I do? Make it forget?" Her breath caught. "How can I make something like that forget me?" Thomas hesitated, and the answer landed between them like a stone. "You let go of the memory yourself." Evelyn stepped back. No, Thomas, I cannot lose what we had." "What happened?" "I cannot forget you." Thomas's voice softened, breaking. "Evelyn, I do not want you to forget me, but if you do not, that thing will drag the world into itself." The skeletal face pushed further out. The ground beneath them cracked open. The air distorted like melting glass. Evelyn's throat tightened. She shook her head. Thomas, I cannot. Another shockwave hit. The world flashed white. Thomas grabbed her face between his hands. Look at me. She looked. She saw the boy who saved her. The boy who was trapped for years. The boy who had just come back. Thomas whispered, "You saved me. Now save yourself. Save everyone." His thumb brushed her cheek, gentle, human, real. The creature roared, shaking the field. The skeletal figure forced half its body free. Thomas leaned closer. "Evelyn, forget me," she screamed. "No!" He pressed his forehead to hers. "Then let me give the memory away." Light burst from his hands. Evelyn felt something tear through her mind softly, like a thread being cut with careful fingers. Images flickered violently. Two children playing, a door pulsing, a scream, a promise, a lifetime of guilt. Thomas's face, his voice, his hand, then silence. Evelyn gasped as the world tilted. She saw Thomas, but not as she knew him. He was a stranger, a boy with kind eyes she had never met. Her heart broke, but the creature screamed. The door slit flickered. The skeletal figure struggled. Thomas collapsed to his knees as the memory ripped from Evelyn's mind and fused into him. He shouted through the pain, "Run before it remembers you again." Evelyn turned, but the creature saw her. It lunged. Thomas threw himself at it. "Evelyn, go." The world exploded in white. The world dissolved into white. Evelyn felt her body hurled across an impossible distance, the wind screaming around her, even though she could not feel her own limbs. The moment stretched, snapped, then slammed together like broken glass, reassembling itself. She hit the ground hard. Her breath tore from her lungs. The field was gone. The night sky gone. The monstrous entity gone. She lay on cold concrete. The scent of damp earth and mildew filled her nose. Her palms brushed rough stone. Her pulse hammered in her ears. She pushed herself up slowly. Dizzy, vision doubled. "Where am I?" Evelyn whispered. She knew this place, her childhood basement, but not as it was. The walls pulsed with faint fractures of pale light. The air trembled. The floor vibrated like something breathing beneath it. Evelyn staggered forward. Her mind felt stretched thin, as if something important had been carved out of it. A name hovered at the edge of her thoughts, familiar, warm, heartbreaking, but it slipped away whenever she reached for it. She pressed both hands to her head. "Why can't I remember?" The basement shook violently. Dust rained from the ceiling. A crack split open across the far wall, glowing faintly with the remnants of a power she did not understand. And a voice spilled out. "Evelyn." Her blood froze. She backed away until her shoulders hit a wooden pillar. The voice was not monstrous, not ancient, not distorted. It was human, a boy's voice, but she knew no boy. She tried to speak. Who is there? The crack widened. A faint silhouette leaned through its slender, trembling, familiar in a way that punched the air from her chest. The light failed. The wall sealed itself. The silhouette disappeared. Evelyn clutched the pillar as her breathing spiraled out of control. She whispered again, hoarse, "Who are you?" No answer. A deep rumble rolled through the basement. The temperature dropped sharply. Frost formed on the floor, spreading outward in thin crystalline webs. The entity was coming, not the creature she had faced in the field. Something larger, something older, something that had lived behind the door long before the house existed. The world shook again. A violent shudder shot through the basement, ripping open cracks across the ceiling. A low metallic groan echoed through the space as the earth above shifted. Evelyn stumbled away from the wall. A second voice seeped through the floor. This one she recognized instantly. The ancient voice, not whispering, not calling, commanding, "You will return." Evelyn shook her head violently. No, I will not. I broke the door. The floor rippled, forming a whirlpool of black mist. From its center, a faint outline appeared, hands reaching, grasping, pulling as though crawling up through a grave. The ancient voice grew louder. "You broke the door. You broke the anchor. You broke the memory." The mist surged upward, coiling like smoke around her ankles. "But you did not break me," Evelyn screamed and jumped back, tearing free from the grasping vapor. Her back hit the basement steps. She scrambled upward, climbing two at a time, fingers slipping on the wood. But when she pushed the door, it would not open. She shoved harder. Nothing. The house had sealed her inside. The ancient voice rumbled beneath the floor. "You cannot run from what remembers you." Evelyn turned, shaking. "I did not ask to remember you, but you did." The floor split apart beneath her feet. A massive crack burst open, glowing violently. Wind roared upward, dragging her backward toward the widening fault. Evelyn clung to the railing, arms trembling, eyes burning. A figure rose from the crack, featureless, tall, a silhouette carved from the same pale light that had once pulsed inside the forgotten door. It had no face, no form, only outline, yet Evelyn felt it looking at her. "Why are you here?" she cried. "What do you want from me?" The figure's head tilted. "You are the promise." Evelyn shook her head. "No, I made no promise. You made one the moment you remembered." She froze. Remembered what? But the memory would not return. It hovered just beyond reach, like a shadow that fled from light. The figure stepped closer. With each step, the basement shifted. The walls bent inward. The ceiling groaned. The air thickened until Evelyn felt it crushing her chest. "Let me in." Evelyn shook her head violently. "No, stay away from me." The figure extended a pale hand. "Let me finish what was begun." Evelyn backed up the stairs as far as she could, until her spine hit the locked door. The figure advanced, each step distorting the air. She whispered, terrified, "Please, stop." The figure's hand hovered inches from her heart. Then the basement exploded with blinding white light. A shockwave blasted the figure backward. It staggered, glitching, its form unraveling like torn fabric. Evelyn gasped, shielding her eyes. A voice cut through the light. "Do not touch her." Evelyn's heart stuttered. She knew that voice, even without the memory, even without the name. She knew it down to the bone. Someone stood at the bottom of the stairs, now silhouetted by light, trembling but alive. A boy, or perhaps a young man. His outline flickered like a candle in the wind. The figure of light recoiled from him violently. "You have no anchor." The boy stepped forward. "I am the anchor now." The basement roared. The walls shook violently enough to crack. Dust and splinters rained down. The ancient voice thundered from every direction. "You cannot hold what you cannot remember." The boy turned his head slightly toward Evelyn. She felt her breath leave her. Her heart recognized him. Her bones recognized him. The world recognized him, but her memory did not. Her voice cracked. Who are you?" He smiled, a sad, soft smile that hurt more than any scream. "You do not remember, but you will." The figure of light lunged forward. The boy grabbed Evelyn's arm, dragging her down the stairs just as the figure's hand sliced through the air where she had been standing. "Come on, move!" The basement shook violently again, splitting open beneath them. The black mist surged upward, trying to swallow the stairs. Evelyn stumbled. The boy caught her, pulling her toward the far wall as the foundation collapsed behind them. She shouted over the roar, "Why are you helping me?" He looked at her with the eyes of someone who had waited a lifetime. "Because you saved me. Because you forgot me. Because you must remember to survive." The figure of light shrieked a high, keening sound that shook the walls. Evelyn grabbed the boy's wrist. "Tell me your name." He opened his mouth, but the world split open before he could speak. Segment 20. The name that opens and closes all doors. The world split open. Light, white, violent, alive, ripped across Evelyn's vision, shredding reality into ribbons. She felt her body flung through space, through memory, through something deeper than either. Her scream was swallowed by the roar of collapsing dimensions. Then silence. Cold darkness. She opened her eyes. She was standing in a vast, empty plain of ash. The sky above was a hollow void, swirling with faint streaks of silver. The ground cracked beneath her feet with every breath she took, as if reacting to her presence. She turned slowly, heart pounding. Nothing existed. No house, no basement, no field, no creature, no boy, except a single door standing upright in the middle of the ash, not attached to a frame, not attached to a wall, just there, glowing faintly, waiting. Evelyn staggered toward it. Her breath turned to steam. The closer she got, the louder the world became, whispers rising like a storm trapped beneath the ground. The forgotten door, but different, new, old, awake. Evelyn reached out, fingertips trembling. A hand caught hers before she touched the knob. Warm, familiar, human. She spun around. The boy stood behind her, older now, no longer flickering, solid, real. His hair messy, his clothes torn, his breathing heavy as if he had run across eternity to reach her. His eyes burned with fear, hope, and something deeper. Evelyn stepped back, dazed. "You. Who are you?" He swallowed hard. "My name is Thomas." Her heart cracked. Something inside her, something wounded and buried, shivered violently at the sound of that name. But the memory still refused to connect. It hovered out of reach like a fading dream. Thomas lifted her hand gently. "You do not remember me, but that is because I took the memory away. I took it to save you." Evelyn blinked rapidly as her throat tightened. Why? Why would did you do that? He smiled soft, exhausted. Because I loved you enough to disappear from your mind if it meant you lived. Evelyn's breath caught. The plane trembled. The door pulsed brighter. She whispered, "Then why am I here?" Thomas stepped closer, placing a hand over her heart. "Because this place, this door, it remembers you." The ground split open behind them. Black mist rose like smoke from a dying fire. The sky darkened. The air pulsed. The ancient voice returned not as words, but as vibration. "You cannot break what is written in memory." Thomas turned, eyes blazing. "You do not control her anymore." The ground beneath him cracked violently. A towering silhouette rose, a colossal, faceless creature, larger than anything Evelyn had seen before. Its presence bending the air around it. Its body was made of writhing shadows, dripping like tar, twisting with the faces of those it consumed. Thomas stepped in front of Evelyn, shielding her. "She is not yours." The creature lunged. Evelyn screamed as its massive limbs slammed toward them. Thomas raised his arm, and the world exploded with light. A shockwave blasted the creature backward, sending it crashing across the ash plain. Its shadow form flickered violently, shrinking, unraveling. Evelyn stared at Thomas, breathless. What are you?" He didn't look at her. He kept his gaze on the creature. "I am what you made me." Evelyn stepped back. "What does that mean?" Thomas finally looked at her. "I survived in the door because of you. I grew because of you. I held on because I believed you would come back." The creature roared, shaking the ground. Thomas turned back. "And now I am the only thing keeping it from opening fully." Evelyn stared at the glowing door, horrified. "If it opens, what happens?" Thomas's jaw tightened. "Everything ends." The creature lurched forward again, but its body was weakening, its size shrinking, its limbs peeling like smoke burned away by light. Thomas glanced at Evelyn. "We do not have much time." She looked at him, tears rising. "What do I do?" He pointed at the door. "Close it." Evelyn felt her stomach twist. I cannot even remember what it means." Thomas stepped closer. "You do not need to remember me. You only need to remember yourself." The creature screamed, as if those words wounded it. Evelyn turned toward the door. The knob pulsed. Alive, hungry, waiting. Her hand hovered over it. Fear crawled up her spine. What if I open it instead? Thomas touched her back gently. "You won't. You never did." Something inside her shifted. A memory, faint, blurry, warm. Two children standing at a door, holding hands. One too brave, one too scared. Thomas whispered behind her, "You did not fail me. You were a child." Evelyn's tears fell. She placed both hands on the door and spoke softly, "I am not your promise." The door pulsed violently, resisting. The creature roared behind them, trying to push forward. Thomas shouted, "Evelyn now." Evelyn shoved the door with everything she had. Light burst outward. The ground trembled. The sky cracked. The ash plain dissolved into swirling white. The creature lunged at her one last time. Thomas intercepted it. Their bodies collided in an eruption of force that shook the world. Evelyn screamed. Thomas. The door sealed shut. A shockwave blasted across the plane, ripping shadow from bone, memory from void, monster from existence. The creature dissolved into spiraling dust. The light swallowed everything. Then, silence. Real silence. Evelyn opened her eyes. She was lying on soft grass under a gray morning sky. Birds chirped faintly in the distance. The Ashford house was nothing more than a pile of collapsed wood and dust. She sat up slowly. Her heart ached. She looked beside her. No boy, no shadow, no memory, just emptiness where something important should have been. She whispered, "Who are you?" Thomas, but the name tasted foreign, lost, leaving her the moment she spoke it. A soft breeze brushed her cheek. She didn't know why, but she smiled, not with joy, with peace somewhere, far beyond doors and shadows. A boy watched her, alive, safe, free. Evelyn stood, dusted off her clothes, and began walking toward the road, her voice quiet, trembling, hopeful. "I am free," and she was. The door was closed. The nightmare was over, but somewhere in the faint morning light, a whisper drifted through the wind. "Thank you, Evelyn," and she did not hear it, but she felt it. Like the echo of a promise not broken, but fulfilled. The end. The story ends here. Thank you for watching and listening to the whole story. Please subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to listen to the next stories.